Welcome to round 3 of the Geico AMA EnduroCross Series fueled by Monster Energy. We're at the Citizens Business Bank Arena in Ontario, California. Jason Wagen and the editor of Dirt Rider magazine, Chris Dennison, here to give you all the action. If you folks haven't seen EnduroCross before, we'll give it to you the simple way. Just imagine all the nasty terrain you could ride a dirt bike over in the desert or the woods, and then bring it into arena floor so the fans can watch the riders do battle on it. Should definitely be exciting to watch. Chris, you've been to a lot of these things, you've ridden some of them. How does the track here in California measure up?
This track right now is a little bit faster than normal. You know, that's not to say it's not difficult. It's still a very tough track, but I think we're going to see it play more to the motocross riders, the guys with an MX background, just because it is a bit quicker, slower lap times, but still it's going to be a battle tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. In EnduroCross, anything can happen. There's still an opportunity to get stuck, to have crashes, and all sorts of action, so it should be exciting. But first, let's show you how we got to round 3 with our highlights of the first 2 races.
Here are your highlights. Opening round of racing at the Orleans Casino in Las Vegas. Mike Brown improves his odds of taking a victory by grabbing a big hole shot. He has the defending series champion Taddy Blazusiak right behind him, shaping up to be a great race until Blazusiak bobbles in the rocks, and that allows Brown to slip out to a nice solid early lead. Here's the 10 of Colton Hager. He had some pressure from Cody Webb on the number 2 early, and they were keeping the heat on Blazusiak. In fact, it was a closer battle for second than it was for first, until Brown made this mistake of his own in the rocks. Still had enough of a gap to get away without taking on much pressure from the riders behind him. Here's Blazusiak trying to put in one last push. He makes a mistake in the rocks, gets out of it in classic Taddy style. And you still have Hager on the 10 and Webb on the 2 scrapping it out for 3rd and 4th. And Brown here bobbles on the last lap, almost throws it away. But the 40-plus-year-old rider had a tendency able to hold on, and he takes the victory at night 1. Blazusiak right across the line in 2nd, Hager in 3rd, and watch, he is upset. He wanted more. He wanted to beat the champ and take 2nd or even upset Brown. He'd have a shot here at round 2 in Sacramento, starting on the inside, but Brown once again using his motocross skills to grab the hole shot. Kawasaki's Taylor Robert right behind him. Blazusiak and Hager hung up in turn 1. And things get even worse for them. Ricky Dietrich goes down. He collects Hager on the left. Blazusiak on the right, just able to get through there. Meanwhile, up front, Brown dealing with pressure from Robert. And also the number 7 of Kyle Redmond to get on this battle. They were keeping the heat on Brownie. But once again, the veteran did not crack. Then, incredibly, it's Hager here making a move on both Redmond and Blazusiak. Remember how far back the number 10 was early? He's now put himself in contention for a podium or maybe even a chance to go after Brown for the win until this. Tried to jump into the rock section. The kid goes down and Blazusiak says thank you very much. But up front, Mike Brown, you can teach an old dog new tricks. Each year he gets better and better in this series, and now he's started it with back-to-back victories. And here's how the points look coming into round 3. Mike Brown with a 10-point lead over Taddy Blazusiak. Got Taylor Robert right there in contention as well. But it's a perfect season so far at 50 points and 2 main event victories for the number 3. Let's talk about this, Mike Brown. Coming out guns a-blazing, hole shots in both races, winning both. You've been on this real steep climb as far as improving in EnduroCross every year. What's the secret? How have you improved so much?
Just preparation. The bike, the bike is number 1. We switched to a 350, got it dialed in a lot better last year. Just was good on the bike, but this has stepped that up. It's the same bike as a 250, just a little bit power, the suspension setting, and just practicing. Being ready when the year came in. Before I was kind of doing a lot of races before coming into the EnduroCross, and this year I had more time to prep for what I need to be doing, and I think that's a big difference.
We had a really big gap between the second round that you won and here round 3. How do you keep the momentum going with that much time in between?
It's good. We've had 2 EnduroCross X Games in there, and that's kept us on top of everything. And then just other stuff. I know I did a few things for KTM, a few rides there and here and there, and local stuff. But just practicing, keep doing the same thing I've been doing all year, and hopefully it keeps working.
Yeah, whatever you're doing is definitely the right things. Let's send it to Chris.
All right, I am standing here with TNR Carpentry FMF Stillwell Performances Kyle Redmond. Kyle, big change for you at this round. You are off the 4-stroke. Tell us about the move.
Yeah, we decided to make the change, me and my dad. Just so much easier dealing with the 2-stroke these days. The cost of keeping the motor up and just changing a piston in itself is just so much easier. So we were tired of the 4-stroke thing, and 2-strokes are good. They're light, they're fast. I don't really know why more of us are on them. So we'll see how it goes tonight and how it performs in a race. In a race. So.
Right on. Well, the 250SX looks good. We look forward to seeing you tonight. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Chris. We're here at the Monster Energy Kawasaki pits with Destry Abbott, one of the favorites of everyone in the pits. So we don't like it when you go down and down hard, but that is what happened in X Games a couple months ago.
Yeah, like I said, it was a couple months ago over in Barcelona, Spain, and it was cool to be able to race the X Games and see EnduroCross growing like it is. And one of the hardest crashes I've had in 20 years, and finally getting better. I'm probably like 80-90%, but it's hard to miss races. And luckily, I raced LA a couple days before I started riding and made the main there. So now I'm kind of a little more healthy and see how it goes tonight.
And it's a wrist problem you're dealing with. You even have to run a brace when you go racing?
Yeah, it's still ligaments, it's broken, and now the bone's healed. Now it's just ligament damage and letting that kind of do its thing. And, it's definitely a little hindering, but, as long as I ride smart and smooth, I'll be all right.
We can count on him to ride smart. Watch for DA8 tonight. Let's send it back over to Chris.
So we are here with Monster Energy Kawasaki's Taylor Robert, and Taylor, it's been kind of a long break since the last AMA EnduroCross, but you had a fun summer.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. Just still been racing a bunch of other stuff, and now that EnduroCross is coming back around, just been training really hard for this and trying to get back up on top of that box.
Perfect. So you got your first X Games EnduroCross win in Germany. How does it feel to get a gold, and how does that change your attitude going into tonight?
It was amazing. I mean, there's really nothing better than getting a gold medal for what our sport is. So I was really happy with that, and now I'm just going to keep moving forward. I got a little bit more confidence. I know I can do it, and just going to keep trying doing it every time.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to seeing you out there. Over to you, Jason.
Well, thanks, Chris. You can see the riders are now into the Citizens Business Bank Arena surveying this course, and they'll be racing before long. But first, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
I was made of money.
I wish you were too.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
There's no other place than the Lucas Oil Motorsports Hour. And there's no other place than on MAV TV, where you can get AMA Flat Track, Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing, EnduroCross, Pro Pulling, and more. You want action? We've got action. Tune in on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on MAV TV.
The 2013 Geico AMA EnduroCross Series is brought to you by Geico. You can save money on motorcycle and ATV insurance. Go to geico.com for info. By Kenda. Quality tires since 1962. That's Kenda. That's life in motion. By Lucas Oil Products, makers of high-performance motorcycle oil. It works. And by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Welcome back to Geico AMA EnduroCross, fueled by Monster Energy. It's round 3 from Ontario, California. Mike Brown has won the first 2 rounds of this championship, but we know to be the man in this series, you've got to beat the man. And for the last 5 years, there's no doubt who the man in EnduroCross is. It's number 1, Taddy Blazusiak.
I always set myself long-term goals and the short-term goals. So the next short-term goal is the next race. Try to be competitive at the next race in a couple of weeks, and long-term goal is try to win more medals at X Games and win the championship in the States and win the championship here in Europe. For sure, I got enough motivation in me to keep on going for another couple of years. I've been racing bikes for all my life, and I started as a 5-year-old kid, riding a Charles bike, and the feeling that when you win a race or when you achieve a goal or something, it's something that is incredible. And I've been walking on this planet for quite a couple years, and haven't found nothing that gives you a better feeling than that. So that's why I'm around, I guess. When you're just a kid having fun, you're not really thinking of money, sponsors, championships, or delivering results to your team. It's just about fun. But when I was a kid, it was only about fun. Then when I was a teenager, it was about fun, but it was about, I don't know, trying to show people that I can do it. And then if you get to a certain level, it's about figuring out your life and what you're going to do when you're going to be older. And then when you get to another point, it's thinking about, all right, if I'm going to do this for I don't know, a certain amount of time, I can get my life sorted for the next couple of years, and or more. I feel free on the bike, you know, and that's probably the only time that you're not really thinking of nothing, just you're super focused. I'm super focused on what I'm doing, and when you're off the bike, it's time to think about all the other stuff, you know, what you can do to make your racing better or make your life better. So there's always that fun factor in it, but it changed from when I was 6 or 5 to here a lot. I can show you where I'm riding a lot, and we're actually at Off-Road Figgy Park, and they let me train and ride here, which is super cool. Thanks, guys. And anyway, come and check it out. The year when I ended up racing Erzberg, that was probably the year that the fun factor was the biggest in my life. You know, I went back home, I had no ride, I had no contract, I was free, you know, I could do whatever I wanted, and that was when a friend of mine who was racing enduros, he crashed and broke his ribs and he couldn't race Erzberg, and he was at my place. So we were having, you know, a few beers at the bar and talking and laughing and having fun, and then we came up with the idea of going to Erzberg, and that was just a couple days before the race. And so that was like, you know, we were talking about having fun. So yeah, from having fun to ending up winning Erzberg. Actually what happened is, you know, like the qualifying for Erzberg is the prologue, the 10-kilometer long uphill special test, whatever you call it, super fast, and so you need a really good motorcycle, but I didn't have one. So I didn't qualify too good on this stuff, but they had EnduroCross track on the, like at the paddock, and they had an EnduroCross race. And I thought like, well, I'll give it a go. And you know, they had like some time practice for the amateurs. So from my time practice from the amateurs, I qualified second with the pros. So that's how I got my my bike from KTM. This is what happened in my life, you know. This is how my career, you know, worked out or changed its direction, and I'm super happy with that. But thinking about what if makes no sense. What if I didn't crash last weekend on the log jump? Mike got hung up on the rocks on the last lap, right? Would I go for a gold, or maybe I would crash somewhere else? I've learned that life changes a lot, and sometimes expecting the unexpected, I guess, is the best thing to do it. Just try to do your best, and opportunities sometimes come for no reason and from nowhere.
Well, we're looking forward to a great battle tonight. Taddy Blazusiak, Mike Brown slugging it out for this championship. We'll be back with our vet final right after this commercial break.
It's about that moment you realize it's not a ride, it's a journey. And so it begins. Your journey starts with Shorai. Shorai, the world's lightest, strongest power sports battery.
Hope you remember how to...
No.
We are back. Time to get some racing going in the Geico EnduroCross Series, fueled by Monster Energy. Jason Wygant, Chris Dennison here to give you the call. It will be our vet final. It'll be the first riders to have a shot at the track in a main event, but we've seen practice and hot lap qualifying today. Pretty fun to watch.
Super fun to watch, Jason. I'm so excited that they start the night with a vet class because I'm always pumped to watch this race, and it is super stacked tonight.
Yeah, it's especially loaded. You know, you come to Southern California, that's kind of the heart of the motorcycle industry in the United States, so we've got a lot of specialists. It is a vet race, considered a support race, only 4 laps. We've got big names in it. Lorette Nicoll, who did a great job, won the last time out when we did the show in Vegas, but throw Ty Davis in the mix, that guy can do it all on any terrain.
Yeah, absolutely, and the funny thing is that Paul Kraus is the oldest rider out here. So he doesn't have Kurt beat, unfortunately, Paul Kraus at 49 years old. But the fans always love this one. They get behind it. These guys are the real heroes of the sport. And, you know, some of them actually make it look easy. Pretty good riders.
Yeah, there's Lorette Nicoll right there on the number 8. And he rode at 125 at a couple of these events earlier. Switched back to the 350 today. And we'll see how Kurt, a multi-time winner of Grand Prix motocross, can do here in EnduroCross. He's certainly adapted well to this. But, yeah, you throw in Ty Davis, a couple other riders to watch, Craig Thompson, Stephen Ford, Tim Roble, Adam Booth, Colby Begin, Kelly Knight, Joe Bianchi, Kelly Gelhaus, Paul Kraus, who you mentioned, and Steven Adams. That is your field. It's 4 laps, but most of these riders over the age of 40, that's all the laps they probably want. 4 is good enough.
Yeah, certainly. You know, 4 is tough even on a course like this, a little bit faster, more moto-oriented. But I got to throw a shout-out to Adam Booth.
Yep.
Not only because he's a co-worker at Dirt Rider Magazine, but he was the Sacramento winner. So he's coming in with some momentum. We'll see, because Kurt was riding awfully fast in practice.
And there is Kurt there, who now works for the Nitro Circus, but it's very serious here. This is not freestyle, this is racing. You're going to drop the gate just like you would at a motocross event, and then it's going to be completely different from any motocross race you've ever seen. If you haven't seen EnduroCross before, you're in for quite a show. That's the 59 there. Ty Davis on the inside has done it all. Enduro championships, hair scramble championships, done well in Baja 500, Baja 1000. And it was very fast in the pro class of EnduroCross when this series started, so can't count out Zip Tie.
Yeah, on a track like this, Jason, the start is so critical to getting around it. You know, they make that right-hander straight into the difficult rock section. If you don't get through that clean, you're coming from behind, that's tough in 4 laps.
Yeah, and the way the start is set up, they're going to go halfway down this start straight and make a right to get into those rocks. The hot laps during practice, they did not use the starting line configuration like that. So this is the first time these riders are going to take this first turn.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch, and I'd like to point out, too, if you watch a guy like Kurt, his strategy is get the whole shot and just ride clean, because in the vet class, you know, you see a lot of mistakes. You have a lot of awfully fast riders, but the trick is keeping it up on 2 wheels the entire race.
Oh, man, if you go down to pick the bike up, that is an energy sapper right there. So Davis here lined up on the inside on the number 59. It will be a right-hand first turn. And it's a short one. It's all about getting the jump.
The dirt right now, Jason, fairly slick just because they packed it, watered it. These guys will break it in, so by the time it gets to the pros, it should be good traction. But, you know, hopefully they all get through the first turn clean.
Yeah, we want to see him race it out. Well, here we go, folks. We're ready to go. Geico EnduroCross Racing. And they're battling their way through. It looks like Davis in the 59 trying to put the fenders in front. No, it's 243. Colby Begin. Well, that's one heck of a way to begin the race. He's got the early lead. Did that log section and doubling over the tractor tires.
Yeah, really aggressive start for Colby, and I like how he's riding. He's not scared to come over on Ty. We'll see if he can hold it. The guy's awfully fit, but I've seen him make some mistakes in the past that hopefully he doesn't repeat here, because if he stays up, he's going to be tough to catch.
And it looks like the 8 of Nicoll has caught Davis, who's got a battle for 2nd and 3rd. And here comes Adam Booth with the headline on it all.
Yeah, notice Boothie is on the Christini all-wheel drive bike, so that front wheel is actually grabbing traction. I think that's going to be a huge advantage tonight in the rocks.
And he just took advantage of it as he tries to get around Nicoll. Grinding elbows on each other. Now Davis gets hung up, and Nicoll's going to get around both of them. So well done by the number 8. Moves from 4th to 2nd.
Yeah, now let's remember too, Jason, the vet class is 35 and over. These guys are riding like 20-year-olds. They're banging elbows, coming over on each other. It's going to be a good race if they keep this up.
Well, I think one of the most underrated aspects of this is the fitness aspect What are the heart rates probably at for these guys right now?
Certainly, and a lot of them train hard, but pretty much everybody here has to be at work on Monday. So you don't see a lot of the risky racing like you do out of the guys that do this for a career. But Kurt right now, so smooth. You watch his technique. He just keeps forward momentum. He doesn't care. Feet on, feet off. You know, you saw through the firewood there. Just keeping going forward, not getting stuck is kind of his game.
All right, trying to reel in Colby Begin, who has begun this race phenomenally well and smooth over that rock mountain.
And I like this section here. You know, Schaefer Tracks did an awesome job putting the track together and kind of utilizing some of that tunnel section. And a lot of the obstacles aren't too difficult, meaning there's not guys getting stuck. But in my opinion, it makes for better racing because you don't see bottlenecks.
Well, we saw it in qualifying earlier today, how close the lap times were. How Kurt got himself a face full of water in that section there. Trying to creep up a bit on your leader, Colby Begin. They have left that battle, Ty Davis and Adam Booth behind. They are basically focused in on each other. It's to 243. Now he's got to deal with lap traffic. That's Paul Krause trying to get around.
Yeah, Paul, a very seasoned rider, and I think he realizes at the 2-lap mark, you are still racing. You can't breathe easy. And just seeing the white flag there, that's to indicate one more lap. These guys are tired, Jason, but they're not going to let up, especially if you're Colby.
This could be the opportunity Kurt was looking for. He has caught the leader. Now he's got to try to find an opening with a half a lap to go. People cheering them on. It's a great battle for our first race of the night, and here comes Kurt. Oh, and Begin able to jump over the tractor tires. He turned it into a double again. Gives him a little breathing room.
Now this could get interesting coming in the firewood section because Kurt is looking so strong there. You know, he's keeping a straight line. Maybe able to squeak past him on the inside, we'll see.
Yeah, he has the opening and a mistake by Begin. Here comes Kurt Nicoll on the inside. And Begin goes down and he takes Nicoll out with him.
Ooh, that looked like it hurt. But again, Kurt's got to get out there and he's got to finish. You know, it's tough to see the competition go down like that, but they're both racing. They're going for the checkers.
Pulling it out on the last lap, Kurt Nicoll wins the vet final. Yeah, the veteran out of England, and well done picking himself up. Colby Begin will still hold on for the second place spot. That is what EnduroCross racing is all about, down to the last lap.
That was a great race. It's good to see those guys high-fiving too. You know, they don't take it too seriously, but they are racers. And Adam Booth bringing it in third place, very solid result for him.
Absolutely. Two-wheel drive and the headlight shining first in the two-wheel drive headlight class. So you can brag about that.
Yeah, all right. That was a good result, and I think that was a good indication, you know, see how the track's going to play out. These guys coming in the firewood section. Colby was sideways from the beginning, and then Kurt, tons of momentum.
He said it was all about momentum for him. Look, he couldn't even get stopped despite having to ride over boulders and logs. Still kept the bike going. And they gave him a mulligan there. He did go inside that boulder, but it's EnduroCross, man. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's a tricky section, too. The firewood moves underneath you. It's like riding ice cubes.
Riding ice cubes. You probably have experience doing that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I've done both.
And what's pretty cool here is our part of our live announcing team. That is Lorette Nicoll. That's actually Kurt's wife. And we've got the headset. This is going to be cool. We're going to get to talk to King Kurt here. Jason Wiegand and Chris Dennison up here. Kurt pulling it out on the last lap. That was a battle, my man.
Oh my God, what a race. I just pinned it through that wood section and hoped for the best. And Colby gave it everything he could. We locked handlebars. We both nearly died. Luckily, I got back up quicker.
Kurt, this is Chris. That was an outstanding race. The one thing Jason and I noticed, a lot of good sportsmanship after the race. So any hard feelings, or are you guys going to go fight in the pits?
No, we're not going to go fight in the pits. Colby's a great guy. He's a great racer, and I really appreciate races like that.
All right. All right, thanks, Kurt. Congratulations on the victory. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys all at the Nitro Circus Live Tour in North America next year.
Boom.
Right on.
Getting it in. All right, there we go. That's our vet class champ, Kurt Nicoll. Said he liked riding that KTM 350. Obviously, he did, because he took it to victory lane, and now he gets to talk to the live announcing crew, checking in with his wife. We are going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back with more racing here from Ontario, California. If that first race, I like to say, is any indication, we're going to be set for a great night. Track maybe a little bit easier, closing up the competition, and it certainly paid off there. We'll be right back.
Traxxas, the fastest name in radio control.
One and done. It's a drag race show. Everything about the race is negotiable.
I'm down for 6 in the jump.
Start a race,
man. Perfect. More than hit the line.
One negotiation, one race with everything on the line. If you win 10 races on one and done, you get an extra $50,000 bonus. See you at the track.
One and Done, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Only on MAV TV.
We are back here, just completed our vet final, and now we'll get into the heat races for our pro division. This is including Mike Brown, who's the guy that is leading the points. But that first race in the vet class gave us a great preview of what should be in store here. We'll show you some of the highlights of that. Came down to the last lap.
Yeah, watch this. Coming into the finish, Lorette Nicoll and Colby began pulling out the pace car in the first race of the night. Colby got squirrely, grabbed a handful of throttle, straight into Kurt. Colby got the band end of the deal and ate a little front tire in the process.
It's good to see Colby eventually was able to get up and finish in second, Adam Booth third, and Lorette Nicoll took the win. Again, that was 2 corners from the finish, and here are the results of that one. It got all crazy there in the last lap, saying that Stephen Ford ends up in the number 3 position, Davis and Booth 4th and 5th. And there's the rest of the top 10, Gelhaus, Adams, Kraus, Thompson, and Roble. And that was your 4-lap vet final. We'll bump it up to 6 laps for our first heat race in the pro division. And all of these gate picks are based on what they did in hot lap qualifying earlier today. And it actually wasn't a great hot lap for Mike Brown. But he still had a pretty decent pick. Taylor Robert there, 33, picking the inside. He was lightning fast this afternoon.
Taylor blew me away today. You know, going into the water section, he was one of 3 riders to actually jump the entire water section. That takes a lot of commitment. And Taylor's a great motocross racer as well as an off-road guy. So you see him bringing that aggressive style to endurocross, and that's what makes it cool, and that's what's elevated the game to the point where it is now.
It is unbelievable. There are 2 sections, the log section they call the matrix, and that water section you just talked about, they were jumping over. That was something unheard of in the early days of endurocross.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible the level it's on now. And you look at Taylor, he's calm, he's relaxed. He's actually flying out in a couple days for the International 6 Days Enduro. So he's got a lot on his mind, but I think he really has the ability to focus and do what he needs to do, which is get into the main event from this heat race.
There you see the water section. Brown was the first rider to jump it in practice, and eventually Taylor Robert, Taddy Blazusiak able to do it as well. They cleared that whole thing. They just basically turned it into a double jump. The water, the logs, all that other stuff, might as well not even have brought it in. They clear the whole thing.
It's a very sketchy jump because if you land long, you land in some rocks. And Mike Brown was the first guy to pull it out, which not really surprised because Brownie's a very calculated rider, but he kind of leads the charge as far as aggressiveness. Even though he's one of the oldest guys out there at 41 years old, still very, very solid, very, very sharp on the bike.
Yeah, I don't think anything about Mike Brown's approach to racing has changed from 21 to 31 to 41, probably age 51. He'll still be aggressive. So here we go. We're going to have our first pro class heat race of the night. It'll be 6 laps. Top 3 riders will automatically transfer to the main event. Everyone else will have to go to the last chance qualifiers where we'll take the top 2. So this is really a race of survival. It's not about winning the heat as much as it is avoiding trouble and getting into the main event.
Very strong start from Brown. You saw him from that second gate, just grab a big handful, great traction coming into the rocks. Taylor Roberts right on him though, and Cody Webb, number 2, he's due for a win.
Yeah, Webb earned that number 2 the hard way, second in points last year in the championship. There they are, jumping the matrix. Will they jump the water?
No, not on the first lap. That's probably smart on Brown's move. You know, he's dictating the pace of the race. Taylor kind of has to follow Brown's cadence.
And we're going to show you Mike Brown nailing this start.
Perfect form, perfect traction coming in. Oh, 27, that's Wally Palmer going down on the outside. He's a strong rider, so I think we'll see Wally come back in the LCQs, but right now it's the Mike Brown show.
Taylor Robert trying to measure him here in second. They've got a little bit of distance on Webb on the number 2. Look at Brown muscling it through this tunnel section.
I can tell you, Jason, as a racer, it's kind of good to be in second place right now. You know, you see, there goes Brown doing that huge double over the water. Taylor didn't follow suit, but Taylor's in a good spot where he can watch Mike's lines. He can see what he's doing. Right now, Taylor's in qualifying position, too, so he can learn a lot.
Yeah, again, with only 3 riders with the direct transfer, And that danger factor as Robert jumps into the firewood, there's always that chance of going down in EnduroCross, like we saw at the end of that vet race. You can easily be knocked out of the qualifying position, so I don't know if they're going to let it all hang out this early in the game. Watch out come main event time, though. Robert's not going to be hanging back.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of EnduroCross, is anything can happen. Yep. Right now we've got Cody Webb in third. He's one crash away with these guys coming together from leading the race.
See if Robert, no, does not go for the jump. I didn't time that with the stopwatch, which is not the most accurate item, but it's not as big a time difference as you would think jumping it. It is faster. It isn't a massive difference, and of course the risk is pretty large as well. You see Brown making some mistakes in the firewood, and just like you said, Taylor Robert in a great position.
Taylor might be making a move here. He's looked really solid through the rocks, and with some lappers in there, could give him an opening.
This rock section right here is where Brown bobbled in qualifying, and that is the reason that he was not on the top of the board. Taylor Robert was. Now they're fighting through lap traffic and battling each other.
Brownie might have to pull out the double right here.
He chooses not to.
Yeah, there was traffic in the way. That was smart on his part, but I'm thinking part of it plays into the dirt being so wet too.
Absolutely. Webb just going through there now, trying to get around some lap traffic. The 77 of Joseph Moschak was down in the water. Look at Robert trying to find a line on Brown.
Robert looks strong through that section, and I think if he can just stay on Brown's rear tire, he may find an opening, pressure Mike into a mistake, but there again, Mike's a tough guy to pressure into anything.
Yeah, he's been there, done that. He's dealt with these situations before as they're putting Palmer, who was down in the first turn, a lap down now. Bunny hopping that bike to lift it over those logs. Here we go into the double. Nope.
Taylor's riding very smart tonight. You know, like we talked about, Jason, some of that could play into the fact that he is going to 6 days soon.
Yep.
That may be in the back of his mind. He has a huge race next week where he's representing our country, so he doesn't want to get broke off. But at the same time, he's a racer. He wants to get past that guy in the KTM.
He's fighting them for it. Here it is, last turn. And the white flag coming out. There it is for Brown. This rock hill has been tough for Brownie all weekend long. This time pretty clean, but I think Robert a little bit quicker. Trying to set him up for something here in the final lap.
Yeah, he may be trying to get around right here, just coming in. They both jumped the matrix. I don't know if Brown's going to do that double. He came up a little short on the tire, so this could be Taylor's game. You see him trying different lines, and that's so important when you're following a rider. You can't be right on the rear tire. You got to try anything, so we may even see something dirty if he gets desperate.
This is the same section where they battled out in that vet race, and Robert jumping in, getting to the inside, sideways.
Wow,
not able to capitalize. Brown is going to overcome the challenge from Taylor Robert and win the heat race. Robert, that was a great effort on the final lap. Every lap, what changes there?
Just getting the other side is getting really slippery and muddy, and if you can do it perfect, it's good. If not, I think it's not as fast. So I think just getting the matrix, getting through the rocks is a good plan.
All right, good job, Brownie.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, that's your points leader. Mike Brown has got himself a victory in this heat race, and we can show you the results now. Remember, the top three transfer into the main event. Taylor Robert, of course, was second. He saw Webb take third. So a couple other riders are going to miss. Ryan Sandy Pants Sandoval ends up fourth. It'll give him a good gate pick for the LCQ, but any extra lap you have to take in this track is just more energy.
It's a balance. It's more track time. You know, outside of these three riders, they do have to ride again if they hope to make the main event. But also, the track's going to change between now and the main. So you figure the guys that qualify out of the first Expert Pro heat race, they don't get to ride again until the main event. The track could be drastically different by that point, Jason.
And I got to figure these guys have a warm-up program to get ready. You saw how hard Brown was breathing. You don't want to go from complete cold to that.
Yeah, from, I think, just a physical standpoint, it really spikes your heart rate.
Yeah.
EnduroCross, like running on a treadmill while holding your breath. And even Brownie, he's such a supremely fit guy.
Yes.
He's sweating after this.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys try to stay warm if they do transfer directly.
Really slick. I think once we get more guys rolling that, especially some of the support classes, you know, the amateurs, trials, and everything. I mean, right now, the cement that's dug in for the pool is awesome traction with a knobby tire.
Oh, okay. So you want to get up on the side there as much as you can. Now, I know in typical off-road racing, much longer events, you try to avoid the water as much as you can. You don't want to get the water on your gloves, your goggles, things like that. Is that something they worry about at EnduroCross, or is every second so critical that you're just going to go for it? It doesn't matter.
You have to be careful if you're jumping into the water next to somebody. You know, this heat race, you have a guy like Colton Haker. That's him, number 10 on the left of your screen. He's not going to care if he's going in next to somebody. Colton is so not scared to bang bars with people. He's a really good motocrosser.
With Haker trying to get away.
Also like to point out, too, there at the back of the screen is Corey Graffunder on the Husqvarna. That guy is so solid. He has a good chance of pressuring somebody into a mistake and kind of chipping his way up. And he's one of the guys you won't notice right off the bat, and then suddenly he's in second or first place.
A silent assassin in a way, just sneaking up. Now, Hager does it completely opposite. He'll make as much noise as possible. One of the few guys out here on a 450, and says he's really happy riding for this team. They basically do all the work. All he's got to do is work on himself.
Three are pretty close, and there's Graffunder right in the mix. So should be anything.
Like you said.
Yeah, this is the battle for the qualifying position. So Sutherland really wants to keep it, obviously. Doing so keeps him out of the LCQs, which means less track time. Can't do it with a mistake like that, but he's keeping it up.
And Gary's had trouble in that firewood section the last couple of laps. This is it. One of these riders will go directly into the main. Is it going to be the 324 or is it going to be the 118? Another rider, lap traffic goes down, so it is now one-on-one. Sutherland and Graffunder for the final transfer. We'll stay with this.
And if you watch Sutherland's style, he's a very calculated rider. He's really precise about where he places the front end of the bike, and that's just line selection. You know, he's raced enough EnduroCross, he knows where to put it. He's a tough guy to pass, but also Kyle Redmond, big, strong dude. He could force it if he had to.
Here we are into the firewood. This is where Sutherland made a mistake last time around. He's got to be clean through here. Clean enough. Doesn't allow Graffunder to get a wheel under him. Time running out. Looks like Redmond making ground up on our leader, Hager, on the final lap.
Yeah, Colton just went from running a 41.29 to a 46.67, which is a very big deal, so he dropped about 5 seconds on that lap. If he does that again, Kyle very may well pull into the lead.
Shows you how quickly things can change in EnduroCross. Make one mistake, you lose 4 seconds. Redmond is right back in the hunt. Hager trying to pull it back out while dealing with lap traffic. Got the 15 of Max Gersten here, forcing him.
And that right there, Jason, proves how stacked these expert heat races are.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a guy like Phil Smaggi who finished 5th. We didn't see him on the screen, but he's a really solid rider. The top 4 is just so fast right now.
Yeah, and it really has been the start, as Brown said. Pretty much. You control the race, 80-90% of it's right there. That's what Hager did, that's what Brown did. They've won the 2 heat races so far. This could be the night for Hager. And every round this year, he has shown speed to run with anyone in our race in Sacramento. He came from last and was up to 2nd at one point. So he can make it happen from anywhere.
Yeah, very strong ride for Colton. And I think that's exactly what he wanted to do, is just come out solid with a win.
And we'll get a chance to talk to Colton Hager here. Hey, Colton, it's Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison up here in the booth. Good riding, man. You controlled it real calm on the inside of that start and just let the race come to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. It was a good race for sure. I'm looking at here, aren't I?
Here we go.
This is weird.
What's happening?
Feels like Supercross, dude. Where we at?
That's what we're trying to do, man.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm pumped. It was a good race, and I've been struggling a little bit with the track all day, but all in all, I think it's pretty good. I had a good hot lap and good heat race, and put it towards the main and be smooth and smart.
Colton, this is Chris. Solid ride, buddy. I have one question. I don't mean to get personal, but why aren't you sweating?
Yeah, no, I am. You can't see it because it's just like a glisten. I'm beautiful.
You're glowing.
It just looks that good.
No, I'm sweating. It's hard. I actually fell down there that second last lap, so it was like I was like a second there where I was like really sweating it. But yeah, it's cool. I hope to talk to you guys after the main event. See you then.
All right. Well done, Colton Hager. And what's interesting here, we're going to take you through some of these sections he's dealing with. Remember, he lost 4 seconds in one lap. Then you get tied up in the lap traffic. Is any one lap the same as the next at EnduroCross, or is it an adventure every time?
Oh, anything can happen, Jason. And, you know, the riders are almost moving obstacles in themselves. You can come around and have a perfect line through the rocks, and there will be somebody in your line. But for these 3 guys, Colton Hager, Kyle Redmond, Gary Sutherland, super solid. And I'd like to point out, too, Sutherland got an awesome start from, like, the second to outside. So this getting into the main event from the second heat is going to seed him into a very, very solid gate pick for that main. We could see a hole shot out of him just because he was so strong off that one.
Yeah, and that is the big drawback. Even if you do qualify through the last chance qualifier, a couple of riders end up on the back row. It'll be a double-gated start in the main event. Virtually impossible to get a good start in that situation. So that's what you really do. You save some energy, but you also put yourself in position to get a good start in the main by starting up front. Now, Taddy Blazusiak will be one of the riders in our 3rd and final heat race. Has there been any talk about Blazusiak, who just 2 years ago had won every single round in this championship? This year, got a win at X Games, but here in the points-paying series hasn't won yet. Is that a shock, or is this something that people saw coming with riders like Brown improving?
It's a bit of a shock. I would say that Taddy did what Ricky Carmichael did to motocross and supercross a while back. He elevated the entire game to a new level, and he comes in with so much speed, so much aggression while he's racing that I think really it forced the rest of the field to kind of step up their game.
But they did. That was the thing with Carmichael. They almost never got to him, and then he retired. But they have at least been able to challenge Taddy. He certainly hasn't won every race here this year. And he's also has a 10-point deficit on Brown in the championships. First time we've really seen Taddy have to deal with some adversity. And we'll see how he performs. Pretty stacked heat race. Got Jeff Aaron there on the number 4. And don't forget Justin Soleil on the number 6. So a lot of guys that can challenge him.
Very cool to see Brian Roper out there. He is number 5 on the KTM, just coming off a medal at the Trials of Nations, which is pretty neat for an American to do. Destry Abbott, too. Ty Tremaine, 114 on the KTM. He loves this track. I was talking to Ty before the race, and he's feeling confident, had a very strong hot lap. But when you're lined up next to Taddy, it's kind of the whole keep him in sight game.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to be out front. You know he's going to pull a wicked fast pace from the beginning. And if you've never seen Taddy race before, he's got strategy, and that's just a pin.
So aggressive, incredibly aggressive. His background is trials, so you would think that he's just the smoothest, most calculated rider out there. Even the flat sections of the track where there aren't obstacles, he's aggressive. He's racing through every inch of the track.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Taddy was one of the riders jumping that water section.
Oh, yeah.
No lie, he was a little bit scary to watch because the first time he went about 5 feet long, ended up in the rocks.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal rider, so he rode it out like he meant to do it.
Right.
But I kind of hope he doesn't try it in this heat race.
The competition maybe does. That might be the only opening they're going to get as he lines up here on the inside gate. Soleil here at number 6 got some good news. He and his wife are expecting a baby, so they're certainly excited about that. He's also one of the more popular guys in the pits, the racing reverend. We call him here at EnduroCross. We are ready to go in this third and final heat race. Blazusiak on the inside. Can he make it work for him?
Roper, the trials guy, very strong start, but ultimately that's Soleil on the inside. Actually, Destry Abbott, my bad.
No, it's Soleil, but then Soleil bobbles downhill. Abbott on the number 8 is stuck also. So you're right, both Kawasaki riders had trouble, and through it all, Blazusiak is in the lead with Jeff Aaron in the number 2 spot, and Blazusiak jumps it.
Makes it look good, too. He's got Jeff Aaron right behind him, trials talent. You know, Jeff has won an EnduroCross before, so he knows what it takes, but Taddy just setting a blistering pace at the beginning of this heat race.
And, you know, that was Taddy's main competition a few years ago was Aaron. Here they are battling with Soleil early. What happened to the 6?
He just got crossed up, you know, had a lot of momentum coming over that log. Fortunately, he saved it, which is good. And EnduroCross, if you can keep the bike running, keep it from going down, mistakes are kind of a given. It's, you know, Taddy goes out there, he doesn't try to be flawless. He just tries to recover from his mistakes as quickly as possible. And he's off to a good start.
You do not have to be pretty here. You just got to get the job done. Although that is pretty to watch. No, he came up short this time. So he nailed it perfectly on the first lap.
And I'm looking right now at his back tire, because we were saying before, if you come up short on that, you are landing on a log that's set in concrete, so you could be blowing spokes out or breaking a rim or anything. And he seemed to take that pretty well. If there's one thing that Taddy is, he is tough.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's why he can be this aggressive, actually still able to pull away from Aaron despite that mistake. There is Aaron on the number 4, 10-time trials champion here in the U.S. and was second in the series a couple years ago. And we're into the tunnel.
I'm very psyched to see Jeff Aaron in second place. You know, he has bouts of aggressiveness, but really he's a very smooth, you know, a lot of finesse, good style to him. He just kind of takes it all in stride, and the guy's like 9 feet tall, which I think it is an advantage when you're in the wet rocks.
Well, one other way to get around the wet rocks is you jump over them. We're going to show you Taddy having his problems getting over this jump the previous lap. It comes up short.
Yeah, he took it well. Oh, that was like linkage and frame.
I think so.
He may have hurt something there. You see, he's pulled his foot off right away, but he's got both feet on the pegs now, and he's ripping through that rock section.
Yeah, the suspension doesn't work when you land on the suspension components. You're supposed to land on the tires. So really interesting to see how he attacks this section this time around, and wisely chooses not to try to jump over it. Might that be the last time we see someone attempt that? We'll have to see.
It could be. If you're one of the racers on the line for heat race number 3, you're paying attention to what Taddy's doing and watching him. And this is good for Taddy to get out if he can nail a heat race win, because his teammate Mike Brown won the first heat. So that's very good for him, just to pull it out early and get to the main event.
And may be able to conserve a little bit of energy here now that he doesn't have extreme pressure from Aaron. There's your trials background. Didn't even take the feet off until he was at the bottom of that mountain. And this is impressive, the performance that he's putting out right now. He's making it look a lot easier than it really is.
Yeah, Taddy, very solid rider, but you see he didn't jump the water that time. I think he's a little gun shy with it. But
unbelievable.
Yeah, also, too, you want to come out and you want to have a good result early on in the main event. I think Taddy's doing what he needs to do.
Huge lead over Jeff Aaron, who's a guy who has won races in this championship before. Aaron is no slouch, but he's a 2 straightaway lead over Aaron. Justin Soleil is 3rd. There you see him on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, the green fender at the top of the screen. Those would be your transfer positions straight to the main event. And we'll have 9 of our 13 riders seated. White flag out, 1 lap to go.
You know, for a guy like Jeff Aaron, too, just getting into the main event's not enough. I know he wants to be in the top 3, top 5. He'd love to be on top of the box at the end of the night. Taddy looking pretty good in his heat race. Obviously, that case didn't phase him too bad. He's still riding aggressively. His game is just kind of put on cruise control now, get across that finish line, get ready for the main.
Yeah, absolutely. There will be plenty of competition there, but right now, Taddy Blazusiak's got it. The heat race victory gives the hot sign up to the fans. The rider out of Poland wears that #1 plate for a reason. He's your defending champion. He's won it year after year after year, getting his strongest challenge yet in 2013 from Mike Brown. Here is Jeff Aaron. Here's your trial skills up on the pegs through the rocks.
Yeah, the rocks are starting to get pretty wet. You see that dirt is just saturated by the finish line. And what we may see later is when the checkers come out, guys are coming in that last corner together. Really slippery conditions could make for some awesome takeout moves later.
That's right, in the last corner. There is Soleil, who takes 3rd, and he is going straight to the main event. So Kawasaki's happy. They have he and Robert already seated. We'll see if Destriavic can maybe put it in through one of the last chance qualifiers that come up later tonight. Good racing so far in the heat races, but what can you say? The riders you expect to be strong, Brown, Haker, Blazusiak, they're your 3 winners.
Very strong rides from all 3 of those racers, and I think the one thing they have in common, very little mistakes. You know, you see a few tiny ones here and there, but it's a ton of forward momentum, really good pace. It's going to make for a super quick main event.
And Taddy Blazusiak now has the headset on. Taddy got Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison here for our live webcast. A good race for you. Got the start, and besides that one jump over the water where you came a little short, everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the race was pretty good. You know, with perfect qualifying for sure. Yeah, I got the start. You know, my bike pulls me out on the start pretty good. So yeah, big thank you to KTM factory team, and yeah, steady race. You know, I was hitting my lines, and yeah, like you said, you know, I came short once on that on the jump over the pond, but you know, you have to give it a go because then you never know what's gonna happen in the main. So yeah, happy about that now, and already looking forward to the main.
Yeah, Taddy, you mentioned your bike working too. It looks like the suspension's totally dialed. How is that through the different sections, the rocks and the logs?
Oh man, like EnduroCross right now is so hard actually, like, you know, to figure out the setting on the bike. So you know, you can have one or the other, but we're pretty good. We're pretty close to have it like good, pretty much everywhere. Like you can see, you know, we can hit pretty good big jumps and still stay in control of those big rocks. So yeah, again, you know, big thank you to KTM factory team, you know, for hooking me up with the best bikes.
Perfect. All right. We'll see that bike in the main. Good luck.
Yeah, for sure. See you there.
All right. That's Taddy Blazusiak with your heat race win. Certainly happy about that. Should be a big showdown. Give the results of this one. Soleil taking that final transfer spot. So it's already getting pretty stacked up. When you think of the 9 riders we already have in, a couple other riders are going to get into the LCQs. We got the stage set for some great racing here in Geico EnduroCross from Ontario, California. Stay with us.
I was made of money.
I wish you were too.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
We are back. It's round 3 of the Geico AMA EnduroCross Series, fueled by Monster Energy. Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison giving you the call. We've completed our Pro Heat races and our Vet final. Next up will be TrialsCross. We're going to take the Trials bikes out there and see how they handle an EnduroCross track. Now, these machines are certainly capable. You might remember our webcast from Vegas. Check this action out. This is Jack Field out of Australia, who's a freestyle trials rider, wins the race, and then does a backflip over a log at the finish.
That was huge. That was EnduroCross history, seeing Sparks in the trials class. And if you've never seen trials before, it's essentially rock crawling on motorcycles. You know, these bikes are built to ride up and on top of vending machine-sized rocks. It's pretty wild what these guys do. And looking at the start, a lot of them balanced right there. Trials is all about balance, technique, finesse, things that EnduroCross doesn't care about. It's going to throw the brutal rocks and the logs and everything at you. And no matter how good a rider you are, it's still tricky to get around it even on a trials bike.
And look at these guys who are actually able to just balance the bikes without even moving, feet on the pegs. That's unbelievable. That was Jack Field, who had pulled the backflip at our previous race. He's not here tonight. Here is your field: Oscar Jackson, Ty Collins, Tyler Smith, Stephen Morgan, Joel Thumure, Jeff Wiley, Mike Salzman, Nathan Brown, and Phil Smodgy. Off the start, of course, most of the riders of the big bikes, those are motocross-style bikes. They can get starts. These bikes are not quite as quick out of the hole, but big corner, they got the low center of gravity, and they're off to the races and going.
Yeah, certainly see Ty Collins on the inside in the white helmet. He is 14 years old, was our winner from Sacramento at the last round, Jason, and very good big bike rider, but obviously has the skills on the trials bike. That's kind of his background, and I would expect him to get up there if he can get through this matrix clean.
Got Phil Smodgy out front of the 551. He had some trouble to the matrix, but everyone else had even more problems. Smodgy making it happen right now as he gets over the tires. It's totally different technique when you see trials bikes right after the regular dirt bikes.
Phil Smodgy, too, no stranger to trials. His brother, Pat Smodgy, is the national trials champion. Do you think that helps Phil?
They push each other a little bit. These are the guys that actually are on America's Got Talent, showing off their trials riding skills together on stage. That was a pretty cool deal for the sport. And Phil's a really nice guy to talk to. Pretty popular in the pits, but probably not so popular in this class right now because he's pulling away.
He is putting on a clinic for sure, and if you watch his style, he rides a lot of bicycles, BMX mountain bikes, but a stall right there, that's so tough on the second lap. Fortunately, he's got a pretty good lead.
And whatever he had, he pretty much lost it. Nathan Brown was in second. He's the one trying to run him down. More problems for Smodgy. Is it actually bike problems? I don't know if it's an honest mistake on his part or if he has equipment trouble. Now, it is the 46 of Oscar Jackson Jr. out of Yorba Linda, California, in the lead. Now the 162, Tyler Smith challenging him. 3 different leaders in one straightaway.
Look at this top 4, too. It's anybody's game. I think Smodgy may have had his gas off or something, but Ty Collins is in a good spot. Second place, that's pretty much where he needs to be.
Yeah, there it is. Gas didn't work. I'm sure he turned it on and off. Nervous habits of racers. Still got this battle for the lead. The 66 of Collins into the #1 spot.
Heartbreak for Smodgy. You know, this is the main event. They go home after this. So Collins, I think he's going to ride in the amateur class as well. He may be conserving energy, but to get a win in the trials class is still pretty cool.
Absolutely. So he has taken the measure now of it's Stephen Morgan actually in the 162D who was up front. So this thing has changed in a hurry. We've had 4 or 5 riders leading at different junctures. Let's see if Collins can make the most of it. Cue ball, the white helmet, makes it easy to pick up.
His technique is kind of cool right now. He's really keeping the bike just stuck on the ground. He's not getting a lot of air. He's grabbing traction is what he's doing. And the trials tire is a lot squishier compound, a lot bigger sidewall than a moto tire. So he's probably grabbing better traction than the moto bikes on some of the wet sections. So just to keep that thing planted, keep it going is pretty good technique.
Stephen Morgan here in second. Interesting, that 180-degree corner before the firewood. He takes it sitting down. These bikes really don't have a seat. He gets really tucked into that thing and has some good cornering. Uh-oh, trouble on the mountain. Oh, there's the traction of that trials tire helping him out.
Yeah, keeping it going, and watch these guys too. They use their legs as suspension, which is kind of cool because the trials bike a lot less travel than a typical motocross or off-road bike. Collins right now is just riding smooth. I think he's probably thinking about some of the upcoming races he has to do on his beta big bike.
Yeah, figure out some of the lines. I don't know if it's going to work though, transferring from the trials bike to the big bike. Is it totally different, or can he learn something here?
He's going to learn a lot right here. I think it's an advantage seeing the track before the rest of the amateur racers do. And you get to see how the lines develop. You know, there's a smooth spot kind of forming in the center of that rock section as they get moved out of the way. But coming across the line for the win, solid ride from Ty Collins.
Ty Collins gets it. Listed as 14 years old. And here's a solid ride in second. Stephen Morgan on the 162D out of Concord, California on the gas. He will take second. He's happy with that.
Yeah, a little style finish line whip.
A Trials whip?
That was a Trials whip.
Trials whip.
It's no backflip, but not to knock him. Jack Field is a maniac, so yes. I think I'll take a whip at this point.
And the 360 of Michael Salzman. Going to steal third there at the end. Going to get up on the podium. He's pumped on that. Riding without gloves? Are you kidding me?
I like his style. That's what's cool. Trials is such a fun sport. I mean, anybody who's never seen it, I would highly encourage you to go out and just spectate at a Trials round. It's pretty fun to watch, a lot of technique, and a guy like Ty Collins, he's all about technique.
You know, there was a time where they allowed the Trials bikes to race in the regular EnduroCross class, and they were often right there in the mix. Those bikes are very effective, and for a while the Trials tire on the regular dirt bike was the hot setup. They no longer allow that in the pro class. They're setting up the headset here on Ty Collins as part of our live webcast. Ty, got Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison up here in the announcer's booth. Good ride, had to make some passes. That's how you get it done. You got to be happy.
Yeah, I got a really bad start, but luckily some other guys made some mistakes, so I was able to capitalize on that.
Ty, what do you think the toughest part of the track is for a Trials bike?
Well, in between the obstacles is not easy because it's not what a Trials bike is made for, so it's definitely a lot different.
Do you get tired out there? I mean, it's only a 4-lap race, but are you spent by the time those 4 laps are done?
Oh, yeah.
Giving it everything you have.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you going to be back in an amateur race later, or are you done for the night?
No, I'm done for the night. I didn't make the amateur main today.
So that's why I had to leave it all out there, right?
Yeah.
Give us some sponsors, Ty.
I got to thank Beta, Mo Tool Oils, Dunlop Tires, Tech Cycles, and my mom and dad.
Well done. Nice ride, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's Ty Collins, and it was a tough break for our early leader, who is Phil Smaggi. I thought he made a mistake here in the logs, but the bike died and never quite got it running right.
Yeah, just could not get that thing lit. That looks like a stuck throttle right there, Jason. Not sure what the deal was. Bummer to see him with some mechanical. You can tell he's pretty upset, but Smaggi will be back. He's a solid rider. He's always around EnduroCross, and hopefully we can see him hit some of the later rounds and maybe grab a win.
Yeah, certainly showed he had the speed to get it done. But after that, Phil Smaggi's race was over. Got some cool things happening here at the Citizens Business Bank Arena. They've actually got a race. They call it the Pro Taper Foot Race. People on foot will actually run down the start straight, see who's the best sprinter. So this is pretty neat. When you go to EnduroCross, there's so many ways to get involved. If you're on Twitter, on social media, hook us up with the hashtag EnduroCross Live. And we'll take some of your feedback later on. Questions or concerns, bring them to me. Complaints, send them to Chris.
Perfect.
Here are your results from the TrialsCross final. Stephen Morgan and Michael Salzman, as mentioned, second and third. Wiley, Brown, and Smith round out the top 6. And we're going to take another commercial break. More racing coming your way. Stay with us all night long here from California. It's Geico. We'll be right back.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico. See how much you could save.
Traxxas, the fastest name in radio control.
We are back here. It is the Citizens Business Bank Arena in Ontario, California, the Southern California round of the Geico AMA EnduroCross Series. Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison, your hosts. Now, a real interesting thing, we've talked quite a bit about the sportsmanship of the riders, and riders are popular in the pits. There really is a community feel to EnduroCross, and our live announcer, Lorette Nicoll, and her husband, Kurt, who won our vet race. They're the first family of EnduroCross. Certainly a tough time for Lorette and Kurt right now. We certainly send our support to them. Here's more on Lorette.
I'm young, take care of myself, and it's shocking. But it's shocking that anybody has to go through this, and it's not fair. Cancer sucks. I found a lump and I sprung into action, called a bunch of doctors. It had to come out, and so we had surgery. And I was diagnosed with cancer on August 6th. Kurt is amazing. He has been there for me for everything.
You know what, he spoke to me and he said it was cancer, which took me 100% by shock. I was not expecting, I was in the waiting room, I was fully expecting him to come out and tell me everything was okay. The words I did hear him say was, "I'll come around tomorrow morning." And I said, like in a wimpy desperation voice, like, "I've never done this before, how am I going to tell her?"
And he ushered all the doctors and nurses out and sat on my right side of the hospital bed and said, "I didn't tell you everything, it's cancer."
Her reaction was amazing because she is amazing, and you know, she's like, "Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that."
Are you filming? Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. So there it is.
The thing about Lorette is she is beautiful, and I knew even before the hair came off that she would be able to rock it.
You know, hair's just an accessory, and it doesn't change who I am, and it won't.
When she had the Victoria Beckham, it looked really great, so I don't know if we'll go longer than that in the future.
And I won't hide from this. I am covering it up because I think I just need to get a little bit more comfortable with it. Plus, I really like the scarf, but it's going to grow back.
And be sure to send your well wishes to Lorette. There you see exactly how to spell Lorette Nicoll. That's her Twitter handle. And Lorette's been here really since the start of the series as a live announcer doing all the podium interviews. There she is. Good luck to you, girl, and certainly popular, not just in EnduroCross, but some other work that she's done in the industry. So certainly we wish her and Kurt the best. But she's going to tackle this thing head on. That's the best way to take it. And we certainly think that she's going to come out better in the end.
Definitely, and the cool thing about off-road EnduroCross, just racing in general, it's one big family. Everybody's got her back, and you see in the pitch, she's smiling, everybody's giving her hugs. You know, she's definitely supported from the racers, and that's very cool to see that she has so much just support and love behind her.
Absolutely, and you folks can do your part again. Hit her up at Lorette Nicoll on Twitter. We are ready to go racing again. We have last chance qualifiers, and we're going to cut the laps down from 6 in the heat race to 5 here, and only 2 will go to the main event, and there will be 2 of these last chance qualifiers. So these are the riders who had their troubles in the heat races, but as we have seen, the way this track has worked out, you can be fast. They're so close that it often could be just one mistake that makes the difference between making it through the heat and going to LCQ.
These LCQs, too, are a different strategy. It's kind of sprint because first and second to the main, everybody else goes home. You definitely don't want to be going home.
All right, here it is. Last chance qualifier number 1 here on the inside. You got the number 11 of Sandoval. He's going to get edged out by Graffunder on the 118.
Graffunder just controlling the start coming into that rock section. To get through there clean is an outstanding way to start the LCQ, but he's got company. Sandoval right behind him, and Bobby Prochnow, too, is on the throttle, number 9 on that KTM going in the Matrix.
Yeah, and Sandoval and Prochnow getting together, rubbing elbows as they went through that tunnel. Now over the water. And don't count out the Kawasaki man in 4th. That's Destry Abbott, hoping for a mistake from the riders in front of him.
Destry always seems to sneak into the main event somehow. He's just such a solid rider. He puts himself in a very good position. And, you know, right now, Graffunder, he's no rookie, Jason. He's been to a lot of EnduroCross. And
Prognell runs into Abbott. Abbott was trying to make the pass, and Prognell made a mistake. Remember, Abbott is riding with a wrist brace on. Still has some ligament damage there in that big crash. Talked about at the top of the show. They've got to hustle. Only the top two go to the main event, and they are 3rd and 4th.
What Prognell did there, that was aggressive, but it wasn't dirty, because when the top two go to the main event, if you're in 3rd and 4th, you really have to push hard. You really have to do what you need to do to stay up front.
Well, here's what he had to do. He took the line away from Abbott, who then had to get back onto the course.
Yeah, per AMA rules, you just have to enter the track. You can't advance a position if you get bumped off the track. So Destri's been racing long enough. He did it right. Out front, Corey Graffunder just controlling it, Jason. He looks smooth. He doesn't look tired. He's probably thinking about the main event already, but you can't count your chickens before they hatch.
Now you got Sandy Pants Sandoval back there in 2nd, putting a little bit of heat on. The thing about Graffunder, I noticed, he's just a big, strong guy. He is huge on that motorcycle.
He's an animal, and he flies in the wide open sections, but you see him in the tight stuff too. He still has very good technique. And one thing I'd like to point out, when he gets back around to that really long rock corner, guys seem to be going faster through that right now, Jason. I think that maybe there's a main line breaking in the center where it's getting down to the dirt. They can carry a lot more speed.
Oh, a little mistake from Graffunder. Perhaps opening the door for that number 11 of Sandoval. Here are the rocks you're talking about. Yes, no trouble at all for the 118.
So we've got some lappers in the rocks, and that makes it tough for Graffunder, but he had a good line straight down the center.
And now through the tunnel section, yeah, unaffected by all of that. And he's actually pulled away a bit now from the 11 of Sandoval. Lap riders having problems all over the place, but they seem to have them on the different parts of the track from where Graffunder has to get through.
And we'll check, Jason, but I believe Prognell may have pulled into that 2nd place qualifying position with Abbott right on his heels in 3rd place. So 2 laps remaining. Either of these guys still has an awesome chance of making it to the main.
There it is, the 9, the orange bike. That is now 2nd place. So something has happened to Sandoval, and that has opened the door for the 9 and the 8 to battle for the last transfer spot. And time is running out. The 8-11 is a lap rider they've got to get through. That's Mitch Anderson.
So white flag, watch Destry on this lap. He doesn't want to follow. He's taking alternate lines. Like you said, he's got that left line through the rocks. Just getting through it clean. At this point, these two guys, it's all about just getting in that qualifying position. Graffunder's gone.
Yeah, Graffunder has this thing tucked away. If he can go error-free, it's going to come down to that battle for 2nd. They got to leave everything on the line because this is the last chance qualifier. No other opportunities for them. Leaping into the firewood and looking good doing it is the 118. Corey Graffunder, the Canadian.
We may have just had a pass for a second. We'll see. I saw Destry creeping up on that inside. Graffunder taking the win. Outstanding way to get into the main event, just controlling the LCQ.
Still close here for 2nd, and it's going to be the number 9. He is going to the main event. Well done.
Good for
Holding off the
Prognell.
challenge from Abbott, and we're going to show you here what happened to Destry after the last lap challenge of Robbie Prognell.
Came in on the inside, grabbed a ton of front brake, unfortunately tipped over. And, you know, for Destry, that was a good thing to try. He was trying to force it into the qualifying position. Didn't work out. Watch the front tire lose traction as soon as it locks up. It's just a really slick section, Jason. Just kind of that hard pat, flat stuff. And Prognell's a big guy, too. You're not going to move him out of the way unless you've got some speed.
Hey, that's going down swinging. Didn't go down with the bat on the shoulders. And remember, he's dealing with a wrist injury, so he's given everything he had. Meanwhile, we have our LCQ winner with us, Corey Graffunder. Hey, Corey, got Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison up here in the booth. Congrats on that. That was a smooth ride.
Hey, guys. Thanks. Hey. Yeah, how's it going?
We're good, man, but not as good as you. Did you make any mistakes in that one at all?
A couple little bobbles in the rocks. I don't know if they classify as mistakes for EnduroCross, but yeah, it was pretty clean.
Yeah, Corey, awesome ride. What's your strategy going into the main event now that you're in?
You know, I'm not jumping this whole matrix here. It's really bumming me out. I didn't do it in practice, and I know I should be doing it, but I just can't get myself to do it in a race. So I don't know. Jump that, I guess. Everything else I got no problems with, but that is just like all in my mind.
Hey, what about the start, where the gate picks are going to be based on the LCQ? Do you think you can still pull a start or figure out a way to come from behind if you don't?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we got those hot laps coming up, so I get another chance for that, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You'll be riding again.
You're smarter than I am, so you got a shot at it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yep.
Hot lap.
All right. Make it happen there, and then make it happen to the main.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
Nice ride.
There we go. That is our LCQ winner, Corey Graffunder. And yeah, that'll be a cool thing with our hot laps. We'll explain that in just a moment. But first, your results in this LCQ. You got Procknell and Abbott second and third, but the big line there between them is Procknell goes to the main, Abbott does not. We'll have one more last chance qualifier. And here's that Dester Abbott crash one more time. This is that kind of action you want to see in a last chance qualifier. Going for it.
Yeah, Dester is really trying. You got to give him credit for that. You're in second place on the last lap trying to come into qualifying, but Procknell just kind of owned the main line in that. Dester could have forced it if he had to. I don't know. It might have taken them both down, Jason.
Absolutely. We've seen it happen before where two riders knock each other down and the rider in fourth ends up stealing second. Now riders on the line for the final last chance qualifier. Now Corey Graffider mentioned the hot laps. Explain how that works. It's really unique to EnduroCross.
Hot laps is my favorite part, Jason. It's one rider on the track at a time, timed lap for gate pick for that main event. And right now we're looking at Jamie Lanza, number 125. He's riding that 125 two-stroke. He was looking good in hot laps earlier during the day, so we'll see what he pulls out at night. But coming into this this expert LCQ number 2, it's pretty stacked. Ty Tremaine, obviously we mentioned he dug the track. And then Wally Palmer, 2.7. What can you say about that guy?
Wide open Wally, man. He'll definitely give it everything he has. He's got such a reputation for it now. I don't think he has a choice. He knows he's got to bring it because people will be watching for it. A couple of these bikes, you can see those, so they're still dirty, still muddy from the heat race action. And again, it's the top two from this second last chance qualifier that will go to the main event. Everybody else will have to be watching from the stands. Hard to pick a favorite.
Oh, it's tough. You know, only 2 guys make the main event, but you can pick out 7 or 8 guys right here that have won LCQs before. And Max Gersten on the outside, he's on that beta. He could be in a position where he can sneak into the lead off the first turn if he gets a good jump.
And remember what happened in the previous last chance qualifier. You had Ryan Sandoval in second, looking good, had a little gap built up. He ran into trouble. He finds himself on the outside looking in. So that's how quickly things can change in EnduroCross. And there's a lot on the line, a lot of pressure on these riders to prevent those mistakes. That's easier said than done.
Certainly, on second gate from the outside is the second rider on the right of your screen, 5.39. That's Ricky Dietrich. He has done extremely well, top 5 in AMA Motocross before in the 450 class. I don't know if I'd want to be gated to the inside of a guy like that.
Yeah, he knows how to get starts. And back when EnduroCross was just getting started, one of the first champions of this series, Ricky Dietrich, now trying to get the wheels back under him and show that he still has those skills. Here's your lineup real fast for this LCQ. Max Gersten, Wally Palmer, Joe Mashak, Ty Tremaine, Jamie Lanza, Colby Begin, Ricky Dietrich, Phil Smodgy, Harrison Oswald, Noah Keppel, Jacob Argubright. Yes, Phil Smodgy was the rider you did see leading that TrialsCross race just a few minutes ago before bike problems did him in. So he's going to try to take that frustration out here in this LCQ.
Certainly, and fun to see Argubright on that Western Design Off-Road TM. It's not a Yamaha, he's the only blue bike out there, but interestingly, he's something exotic, a little different equipment.
Yeah, that's what's cool about EnduroCross. See a lot of different bikes. Gas is out there. Certainly the traditional off-road bikes with your Husqvarnas and KTMs. Honda and Kawasaki, the big effort out here. And that 125 Husky two-stroke on the inside, Jamie Lanza. Ty Tremaine getting a good jump on the 114, but Lanza's going to lead them out.
Dietrich coming in hot too, and there's Gersten in the middle. It is a pretty tight little first turn coming out of that rock section, Jason.
And that is Phil Smodgy on the 551. Let's see if this bike gets through without trouble. It does. So he's in position to challenge Lanza for the #1 spot.
Lanza on that Husqvarna, he's 25 years old. He is the shortest guy out there right now, but boy, he makes up for it in heart, Jason. He goes so hard and doesn't really put his feet down because he kind of can't in a lot of sections, so he just comes in with momentum and
oh, and he goes down. That might be one of the areas where he has a problem because of that. And Max Gersten, who had passed the 551 of Smodgy for second, now takes the lead from the down Lanza. So Gersten picking and choosing his lines brilliantly through traffic. Wally Palmer up to second.
Yeah, good ride for Wally. I would not want to be in 3rd, 4th, or 5th place behind Wally. He is so strong, and he rides a very wide track, Jason, meaning that if you show him a wheel, he's going to come over on you, he's going to whip it, he's going to look back. He might do an act-back in the middle, too.
Absolutely no fear. The number 27, a wide open Wally Palmer out of New Jersey. He's in that final transfer spot as Gersten starting to get away. I noticed him in practice and in the hot laps. Looked very, very good from a technical standpoint. Look at how beautifully he cut that arc in that corner. Didn't spin a tire at all.
Gersten has a fantastic blend of energy and technique. You know, he rides like a very energetic rider, but a little bit more on the controlled side than say a guy like Taddy who has feet flying off, Gersten's pretty precise, but also he brings the heat. He knows how to sprint.
We're going to show you what happened here earlier in this race. Smaji trying to get back into the fight. Here's where he had his troubles. 15. Gersten made the pass. He spins out. Now on the bottom of the screen, Lanza.
Oh, he lands and just stops. His suspension just sprung him, and that's the nature of that firewood section. It grabs your tires, Jason. It really just pulls you down. Gersten was stoked to get by him and inherit the lead.
Lanza is up to 5th, trying to work his way back forward. But this is your battle. 27, the black Christini ride of Palmer, and the 551 of Smaji. 2nd and 3rd, everything on the line. And don't forget that TM, Jacob Argubright, in 4th.
Smaji could be looking for some redemption from the TrialsCross class too, but to get around Wally, a main event, just to get in for Wally would be phenomenal. And you see how well that Christini works. Watch the front tire just grabbing traction, shoots him out of that rock section.
Mistakes for a couple of the other riders have allowed Lanza to get back in this. There he is now, right behind Smaji.
Lanza in the mix too, and any one of these guys is deserving of that main event spot, but unfortunately, only 2 of them get it. Right now, it looks like Gersten's going to be in there, but this battle, Lanza's coming up with some momentum.
Unbelievable. You talked about the heart that Lanza is known for riding with, and he is showing it right now, coming from behind after the crash, and it's just pure aggression making this happen. He took his goggles off, too.
Yeah, no goggles. He must have gotten soaked at some point.
Makes the pass on Smaji for 3rd. One rider now in front of Lanza for the transfer spot. That's the 27 of Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer getting around clean if he can get through this.
Lanza gets hung up. They couldn't take the lines they wanted because of lap traffic. Smaji back to the number 3 position. Now he's the one who's got to try to get around Lanza. Or sorry, he's the one that's got to try to get around Palmer, and he goes down.
Boy, and Argerbright is right in the mix too, Jason. This is anybody's game for the 2nd and final qualifying position.
No competition up front. Max Gersten has dominated this one. He was 3rd early. He took the lead. Oh, and the same section where he grabbed the number 1 spot, he almost throws it away. Brilliant job getting back on course.
Yeah, and Gersten doesn't look tired at this point. He looks a little bit tight, and that's pressure. He just wants to make the main event, and he does.
He does it by winning it. Palmer is going to hold on for 2nd. Lanza did everything he could to try to get back into a transfer position. Was unable to make it happen. Ricky Dietrich, out of nowhere, finishes 4th. I didn't even see Dietrich that entire race.
Yeah, he had a solid start, and I guess just kind of hung in through all the mistakes. What a charge for Lanza. That wasn't for lack of effort, because he definitely tried. And showboaters.
Wow. Hey, that cannot be easy to do a wheelie on a 2-wheel drive bike
or a nose
like Palmer
wheelie.
has. It does a nose wheelie too. And Gersten, man, showing quite the bag of tricks here. Stoppies, wheelies, and LCQ victories.
That was outstanding. He's pumped. He's a young kid and 21 years old. I think he's got plenty of energy for the main event.
Yeah, you don't think he was tired there, and maybe that track time pays off?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was good for him to just see how the lines are developing too. And for Wally, Wally's typically not the smartest rider. I love the guy, but he jumped in behind Max and really did what he had to do to kind of qualify.
Yeah, he did. He actually made the least mistakes out of everyone in that group, except for this guy who's our winner. Welcome, Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison up here in the booth. You got the LCQ win. You made it look good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, super stoked. Had a good run, and made just a little mistake on that last lap there, but it's all good. Just tried to ride solid, and I feel like I punched a hole in my chest, and I punched a hole in my sternum in my heat, but I cowboyed up.
Yeah.
Put it in the main, baby.
Put that hat on. Put that hat on. Let's see that thing. Yeah, looking good.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Max, you are looking solid, buddy. Super strong ride right there. We know you got a lot of good people behind you. Who do you want to thank?
Huge thanks goes out to my sponsors. Beta, Still Up Performance, Recluse Clutches, Climb Gear, Motul Oils, Jet Boots, just ODI Bars, HBD Graphics, Hammer Nutrition, Dunlop Tires. Everybody, huge thanks to my dad, my mom. Awesome, stoked to be here. Thank you very much.
All right, congratulations. Cowboy up in the main event.
Yeah!
Yeah! Gonna park that steed for a little bit, hang it up wet, and bring it back out there. Congrats to Max Gersten, who's got the win. Wally Palmer 2nd, going to the main event. So our field is set. We'll see you in main events, and we also have those hot laps coming up. So this is definitely going to be fun to watch. Congratulations to Max and the hot lap section. See you, man.
Right on. Thanks.
Yep,
See you.
Yep.
Bye.
Right on. So we'll give you the results here. Yeah, when you bring the kids, EnduroCross isn't the loudest, but it's probably not a bad idea to bring the ear protection. Here is your Max Gersten, Wally Palmer 1-2 finish. Lanza, as mentioned, was third. And it's unfortunate. He's not going to get the main event, but he gave it everything he had.
It's tough, but he tried. He did everything, and I think he can pack it up with a smile on his face tonight.
Yeah, and definitely got the respect of the fans, too. We're going to take another break here on our live webcast.
It's about that moment you realize it's not a ride, it's a journey. And so it begins. Your journey starts with Shorai. Shorai, the world's lightest, strongest power sports battery.
Being a champion takes a lot of work, especially when it comes to keeping my engines lubricated. Whether it's motocross or endurocross, Lucas Oil products give me what it takes to keep my engine alive. With the high intensity at which I take on each terrain, no other oil fits the high performance demands that I need to be on top of the podium. I'm Colton Haker, and the only oil I trust is Lucas.
The fastest name in radio control.
There's no other place than the Lucas Oil Motorsports Hour. And there's no other place than on MAV TV, where you can get AMA Flat Track, Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing, EnduroCross, Pro Pulling, and more. You want action? We've got action. Tune in on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on MAV TV.
And we're back here at the Citizens Business Bank Arena, Ontario, California. Well, we're nearing the 10-year anniversary of EnduroCross. 9 years ago exactly, this tour started in the Orleans Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas. And we're going to throw a little trivia at you. Use the hashtag EnduroCrossLive to send us your answer. Who was on the podium at that first ever EnduroCross final? A lot of you might remember who won, maybe, but we want all three. Even a trivia buff like myself, I had to think really, really hard to remember who got third in that one. So we'll give you a little time to figure that out, and if you come up with the answer, send it to us, hashtag EnduroCrossLive. While you think about the answer, we're going to give you a little bit more spotlight shining on our champion, Taddy Blazusiak, give you an idea what life is like off the track for the Polish rider.
The racing community, we're pretty big here for sure, you know. But, you know, real life, if we would end up in Barcelona in the center, you know, with no sponsors on me, no Red Bull hat, nothing, I guess I would, you know, few people would know who I am. If people love watching or following what I'm doing and they enjoy it, it's great. I mean, if not, I will still do it. I do quite a few things for fun, that's for sure. I love jet skiing or go-karting or road biking, right? But it's still in my sport, I would say. But I just love hanging out at my place and being at home and spending time with my girlfriend and just hanging out. Racing a motorcycle, it's definitely not on the safe side. You know, you're not being on the safe side, and you're for sure walking on the very thin ice, I would call it. For sure, it takes a special person to to deal with that stuff. But we all know what we're dealing with, and we all know why we're doing it. So. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to hear that I've changed the sport of EnduroCross and I've made everybody go faster and risk more. But I'll do it again. I'll try to be faster and I'll try to be better. And I guess, like I said, it's always about the goal or try to achieve another championship or try to go faster and try to be the first guy at the finish line. Losing is the part of the game too, and it motivates you, and it.
Oh, Blazusiak and Hager having their troubles in second and third, and that's going to allow Brown to further extend the lead.
There's two ways of losing. You lose because you made a mistake, or you lose that you know that somebody is faster than you were. Losing motivates me a lot, and it always gives you good pointers in what you got, where you have to improve. What's beautiful about racing is that when we're on that gate, it doesn't matter how many championships you won, how many races you won, and it doesn't matter, the statistics doesn't matter anymore, Nobody cares about them anymore. It's about those 15 guys at the gate and who's going to be the fastest guy, the first guy at the finish line.
And he's such a great personality, he's so dynamic, and he's really become the face of EnduroCross and has really helped boost the profile of the sport. We're going to talk about how you guys made the decision to put him on the cover of Dirt Rider magazine. You could pick motocross or supercross guys. It's pretty impressive that his name is now amongst those superstars.
Yeah, and Taddy is one of the greatest guys to work with. Such a good attitude, loves his fans, loves getting out there and talking to the people who cheer for him on a weekly basis, essentially. And the effort that you guys had to put in to pick that cover is not easy. It's very difficult, probably more difficult than most people think. And we'll give you a little behind the scenes of the Taddy Blazusiak cover story for Dirt Rider magazine right here. Editorially speaking, the cover of the magazine is super important. I mean, we only have 12 of them a year, so it's always a big decision what we're putting on the cover. For us going into Taddy's cover, we knew we wanted to put him on the cover. We knew we wanted an EnduroCross guy at the beginning of the year, and we kind of pegged him from the start. I like the rocks in that one. I like the rocks in that one. I like that tire one we looked at, just because the color pops. Obviously, the cover has to tie into the issue somehow, but we look at the brand he's riding, what kind of gear the guy's wearing, everything. But really, at the end of the day, it comes down to what is the best photo, what we think, Joe McKimmey and I think, is going to sell magazine.
Well, it's kind of a collaboration between the art and edit. First thing we do is we pick out what we're gonna, our subject matter, and obviously in this case is Taddy. So then, we'll get all of the photos from all the different, photographers that we have, put them all together, and just kind of look for the best action first, and then after that, I will go through and look for the sharpness and colors and stuff like that. But majority of it is like action, what's gonna sell it.
Something like the lifestyle one is good because Taddy's on ESPN so much now with X Games. He's like a named guy. With something like Taddy, we're not looking for just groundbreaking, crazy, through-the-roof action. We're looking for something that works for the cover. So that means it's exciting and gripping, but fits in with blurbs, and you can kind of make it look cool. And he's a really marketable rider, so it's kind of easy to find a good photo of the guy. It's just making it work for the cover that's the challenge on this end. I'm sure I have a lot of shirtless photos of Taddy.
What's the deal?
I don't know. They kind of make me uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
I want to see the guy on his dirt bike.
Well, we certainly know everything we need to know about Taddy Blazusiak after tonight's show. There's Mike Brown, the one who is challenging him for the championship this year. Now, before we got to all that Taddy focus, we were talking about the previous stars of EnduroCross. Remember the first ever race. Now, we gave you a chance to guess the answer. Now we're going to give it all away right here as we show you highlights of the first ever EnduroCross race 2004 in Las Vegas. And some old superstars of motocross challenging for the win in this one. Start here. Laurent Hughes, one of the best ever in motocross, one of the all-time tough guys, battling out with David Knight, and battling, we mean battling. Look at those two running it in on each other. Now, Knighter at this point was really just coming into his own in the World Enduro Series. Hughes had retired from full-time motocross racing, was really putting a focus in on this, but no one really knew what to expect.
No, this first EnduroCross was a wild card, and you see a lot of two-strokes and a lot of aggression. Guys still riding like motocrossers, not really the trials influence in there.
And here is your trivia answer. Hughes takes the win. Knight on the left is second, and the late, great Mika Ahola was third that night. That was your first ever EnduroCross podium back in 2004. Who would have imagined that it would have gone to where it is now? There are your results. And my buddy CL Moser, at CL Moser on Twitter, getting the victory from the great state of Washington, who will actually be visiting in about a month's time for another one of our webcasts up in Everett. So maybe we'll see him in person. He's the one that guessed properly using the hashtag EnduroCross Live. Mike Brown getting set for hot laps, one of the most exciting parts of an EnduroCross night. And we'll be bringing it to you when we return here live from California.
I was made of money.
I wish you were too.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
It's about that moment you realize it's not a ride, it's a journey. And so it begins. Your journey starts with Shorai. Shorai, the world's lightest, strongest power sports battery.
Hey folks, welcome back to Ontario, California. Jason and Chris up here in the booth getting ready for our amateur race final. Big thanks to MotorTrend for hosting all this live EnduroCross racing on their YouTube channel. And now it's kind of interesting that we have the future of EnduroCross out there with our amateur classes. We just saw some blasts from the past with Ryan Hughes in the early days of this. The sport has really evolved quite a bit. Now there are specialists in EnduroCross. Back in those days, no one knew what to expect.
Yeah, it's progressed to an amazing level, and just seeing these riders out there at the level they're at, so much technique, so much speed, so much aggression. It's like Supercross with rocks.
Yeah, and now they are specialists in that. Riders train for it. I remember the first couple of years that they raced EnduroCross, the main thing was that no one had a practice track, and the amount of practice laps you got at the event were very, very slim. So no one really knew how to practice technique and get in shape for it. Now I bet you even the riders in this amateur main event coming up have probably had a shot on an EnduroCross practice track at some point.
Oh, there are some rippers. And let's talk about number 403, Justin Morgan, Sacramento winner. He's coming in with some momentum because he took the victory at the last round. And he's got a headlight out there, too. I love that.
Yeah. Blinded by the light, and it is a double row main event. We got some riders squashed in back there. The problem with the headlight is it makes it impossible for us to tell what the number is on the motorcycle until we see the side plate. So it's our amateur main event. It'll be another 4-lapper just like our vet and TrialsCross races were. And revs are up, and the gate is down.
And that start's so important, as we saw. Maybe the headlight taking the victory. That could be it.
Absolutely, yeah, it's going to have the spotlight on himself. Everyone else piling up on that rock garden. So we're underway. Hey, the headlight really coming in handy as we go through that tunnel back there. Pays off.
Yeah, I believe that's Ian Young. Not sure because we're blinded by the light, obviously. Yes. But just coming out and controlling the first turn is super important in the amateur class. You will see a lot of mistakes. These guys are excited. They haven't ridden since this afternoon. So a little bit of tension, a little bit of nerves coming into it. That makes it difficult when you're running such a short race.
Yeah, these guys have been waiting on the sidelines for quite some time, and our leader goes down, and that's going to open up for the 158 of Tucker LaRue out of Portola, California. The Portola All-Star, 16 years old, now in the lead. And the red flag is out. The other riders are down.
Red flag indicates a crash that they need to stop and kind of untangle things. Restart the race. We see that from time to time in EnduroCross. Doesn't necessarily mean somebody's hurt, but it could mean that there's somebody they need to attend to.
So this is a precautionary safety measure. Hopefully it doesn't, like you said, mean that someone's down. Let's try to figure out what happened here to our leader as he was headed into the firewood.
Came in hot. We've seen this time and time again, just getting squirrely, and the firewood just skates out from underneath the tire. It's hard to control it. And, you know, it's really hard to look cool going through the firewood. You just got to get through it safely.
Yeah, save the style points for elsewhere. Looks like our rider is up and okay. 649, Harrison Oswald, California native. And got some dirt on the shoulder, but otherwise looks shaken but not stirred. So good to see that he's back up and okay. We can get this race going again.
Too bad to see Harrison on the ground. You know, he's been a contender in the amateur class before. He's likely not going to line up. He's looking a little bit sore, but I give the promoters props. I think that's the right thing to do, is safely get the race back out on track, and you know, it gives everybody a second chance. We saw Ian Young with the headlight there, number 5, going down in the firewood section. He's stoked. This is a redo.
Yeah, he's got every opportunity. We're going to do the full restart. We'll give every single lap that these riders were expecting to have. We'll do them all again. Yeah, that is a number 5. Ignore the 3 on there. There he is, giving us the high sign. Is that the full-on electrical tape number 5? That's how you do it.
Yeah, this is the amateur class. Electrical tape is allowed, but he's not riding like an amateur. He's on that Colton Udall FMF Nicoll racing bike, and turn it off. Maybe he's saving some of his mojo for another hole shot.
Yeah, you don't want to drain the battery. You know, at times they actually ran a night race a couple years in EnduroCross. Remember those days they turned the lights out in the arena and let the bike headlights do the work?
Yep, done that a few times for sure. And with the amateurs, I think it's fun watching these guys ride with the lights on, because there's a lot of sparks that fly for sure. And you have some of them know how to ride in front of the crowd. They can deal with the nerves. Other guys are just so excited to be out there, they'll pin it, and that's when the highlight reel comes in.
It has to be a huge X factor, that crowd thing. They might all be able to put in pretty good smooth laps on an EnduroCross track, but not under these circumstances.
And to get to this main event is no joke in the amateur class. We saw TrialsCross winner Ty Colin. He didn't qualify. Same thing with Destry Abbott's son, Cooper Abbott. Super solid rider, just didn't make the cut. So these guys had to go through qualifiers earlier in the day. We didn't show those, but right now the main event, this is it. You win, you get a trophy, you get to talk to us on the headset. That's not so bad, right?
Yeah. So we had riders out here as early as 9 in the morning to qualify for this, and here we are 12 hours later. They reached their main event again, and Ian Young has put the headlight back on. Much appreciated. We'll see, though, if he can replicate the start that he had. He was leading that one until he went down. So here's his chance at comeuppance. Card is sideways. Revs are up, and once again, the gate is down. Bad start this time for Young. Major bar banging in turn 1. The 158, who was up front the first time around, of Tucker LaRue, is in the lead again.
David Broderick up there too, just on the 214 Kawasaki. He got a great start, and that's the tricky thing about a redo. If you get a bad start, red flag it, you might be able to get out and get a good jump.
And somehow Young has climbed up to the number 2 position, and they sure don't look like amateurs the way they're jumping into the water. Here's a replay of the start, just pure carnage.
Yeah, just so many guys coming into a tight little turn. There is carnage, but they stayed up pretty well.
Look how far back Young was with the headlight. Look how many riders he passes, including the takedown.
Just slammed his way in there. Young, 19 years of age, from San Clemente, California. And he's in a good spot right now, second place, but I don't think he's content with that. I think he wants to be leading.
Judging by the way he made that pass for second, I would agree with you on that one. Not feeling the footsteps, seeing the searchlights upon you will be our leader, Tucker LaRue. Another rider pulling off of the side of the course. Noah Keppel is third. You see him right behind Young. It's Justin Morgan fourth, and David Broderick rounding out the top 5. We'll see if Young and Keppel here can close the gap on your leader, Tucker LaRue.
A quick Noah Keppel story. I raced the last dog standing event in Glen Helen. We were in one of the nastiest waterfall sections. That kid was next to me, and he was grinning ear to ear. He loves the nasty stuff. EnduroCross is his thing, and right now he's riding smooth, getting around Ian Young for that second place.
Yeah, now he's got the searchlight behind him, so he will see if he can go after LaRue, who has pulled off a big lead early in this one, halfway through. Wait, that is LaRue stuck on the mountain. Manages to get going right in front of the second place rider, Keppel. So we have got a battle shaping up.
You see the yellow flag too, if you're joining us at MotorTrend, maybe not familiar with motocross. The yellow flag indicates a crash, a rider down up ahead. And for LaRue, that's tough because he wants a clean track, and frankly, he doesn't get it with Keppel in the lead right now.
Unbelievable. So Keppel takes the lead as LaRue got stuck in the matrix, that log section. LaRue's got to try to mount a comeback here. He's got a lap rider pushing him out of the line that he wants. I believe that's Kevin Murphy on the number 20. And you still have Ian Young in third in the hunt, but Keppel has gone from third to second to now first, and time is running out for everyone else.
Keppel's in a great position right now. If he can just stay up and not get tied up. But there again, you got some
lap
lappers.
traffic.
You can lose the lead that quickly.
And LaRue has gotten stuck. Here's the chance that Ian Young was looking for, and he goes down. All 3 riders are hung up in the same place at the same time, and LaRue is able to get moving first. And back in the lead.
That is the crazy thing about that rock section. It is so unpredictable, Jason. You can come in there, lose the lead, gain it back, lose it, gain it back, and then still come out first.
Feet off the pegs and nearly down is LaRue. Young and Keppel are challenging all 3 riders into the tires and into the water at the same time.
3 wide, final lap, amateur class. And these guys are tired too, but they're still throwing elbows.
Absolutely. Young just ran it in on Keppel. Tucker LaRue, who led the majority of this race, I thought his day was done. I thought he was going to go down in the logs. Somehow he keeps it upright, and he's 2 turns away from victory.
Keppel trying so hard to get that second place. It's just a battle to the end, and he still has a chance if Young makes a mistake.
Oh, and Keppel had the lead in the last lap. It's gonna go to LaRue, and you see the disappointment in Keppel. Young was also right there. All 3 of them had a shot at this one in the last lap.
Yeah, hats off to all 3 riders. The winner of that race earned it. Let's check out a great moment, one of the good replays.
Absolutely, doesn't get much more exciting than this. This is what EnduroCross made its name by. All 3 riders battling for the lead. First, you have Keppel stuck on your left. Then you have LaRue stuck on the right. Young's going to try to go through the middle. He runs into a lap rider and
Young goes down right in front of Keppel too. So all 3 riders just fighting with each other, trying to get up there.
And here is LaRue. He's going to get back on the bike and get back on the gas on the 37, and that's enough to put him into the number 1 spot. This is going to be fun. How much action can you have in one 4-lap race?
That was incredible. Tucker did what he had to do, but he looks gassed right now.
Oh, I bet. Just fighting the bike. Forget about worrying about breathing at that point. Hey, Tucker LaRue, you got Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison up here for our live webcast on MotorTrend.com. That was an awesome last lap.
Thank you.
How did you pull that off, man? All three of you were stuck on those logs and those rocks at the same time.
I have no clue. Like, for me, I come from an off-road background, so I just jumped off the bike and started pushing.
Yeah, it's not about being pretty at that point, right? Just go for it.
No, just go for it. As long as you win.
Tucker, that was an incredible push, and you rode a great race. Who do you want to thank for helping you get to the top of the podium tonight?
Climb, TM Racing USA, Pete Vetrano, AME, Spy, Jet. Definitely Climb for everything they've done. Chirby's, full bore tires.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I will give you $1 if you kiss that girl next to you right on the lips. Go.
Oh, no. I have a girlfriend.
Okay, good
Not
man.
worth $1. Not worth $1.
Yeah. Well, you did well tonight. Go drink a cold Monster and find a nice spot to watch the main event from, huh?
Thankful I made it. I just turned 16.
Oh, sweet 16.
Yep.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations, Tucker. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was awesome racing. We hope the pros can live up to what the amateurs just put forth. We'll be back with more of them when we are done. We're going to take a little break here, reset the course, and be back with some hot laps. So stay with us here in Geico EnduroCross from Ontario, California.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico. See how much you could save.
We're back here. It's Geico AMA EnduroCross, fueled by Monster Energy. Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison here. It's time for hot laps. What both Chris and I agree might be the most exciting part of the entire night, maybe even better than the EnduroCross main event that we'll have a little bit later. Each rider goes out on the track by himself, battling against the stopwatch, and the fastest rider gets the top pick at the starting gate in the main event.
Yeah, and you want to talk about a mind game right now, Jason. You have every eyeball in the house staring at you. So this is the pressure cooker. You go out there, you want to put on a show, but you also want to get a great gate pick for the main event.
And you also know if you crash, everyone's going to see it. They will not be watching a battle for the lead and you fall when you're in 8th. Nope, all eyes on you. Now here's Mike Brown. He was definitely fast when we did this fast lap qualifying for the heat races earlier today, but he had one mistake on top of the rocks, and that's all the difference. In one lap, you have to be flawless.
Brownie definitely looking for a little bit of redemption coming into this hot lap. I mean, it means a lot. It is bragging rights among the riders, and you can make a very loud statement if a guy like Colton comes out, does what he did earlier, is just put down a phenomenal hot lap, then he's inside of Mike Brown's head. Taddy's a bit worried about him. You know, they're wondering where he is once they get out there in the main event. So this is psychological. It's strategic as well.
Yeah, so we put the graphic on the screen saying it's all about the gate pick. That's a nice bonus, but the real thing is that when the people go back to the pits, they're thinking about you being the fastest guy.
Absolutely. So first rider out, Bobby Brock now. This guy's one of my favorites. He is actually a logger from Canada, so that's what he does for training. His time starts as soon as he crosses that log. He is on right now. Fastest lap.
All right, so Procno, this is the section that so many riders have troubles with, including the amateur riders in the main event that we just completed. He gets through there pretty clean. Another one of these big, tall riders. If he makes mistakes, he dabs the foot, no problem. He's got the long reach.
We've seen Prochnow with some very good results at EnduroCross before, mostly because he is dialed. He gets out there, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, he doesn't take stupid risks or anything. Just kind of a very solid off-road guy.
Now that he is the first rider on the track, I guarantee you this, he will have the fastest lap of the night for at least a minute, because he is going to be on the hot seat. He's the first rider to go, so he will be the leader for sure after this. The question is, did he go fast enough to make a time that can hold up? There is Bobby Prochnow completing his hot lap.
That was a strong lap, and we'll see what he ran. It's a 44.197. So, you know, I think that's par for the course. The track is a little bit beat down. We've got Wally Palmer coming out next, and we may get a chance to talk to Bobby too.
This should be fun. Wide open Wally Palmer. If anyone can throw down a hot lap, it's him. Running the Christini all-wheel drive machine through the tunnel.
Wally is so happy to be in the main event at this point, Jason, and I'm thrilled too. You know, it's good for him, good for Christini. He's on the new 302 stroke. It's got a gas engine, throwing a little style for the crowd. So he's one of the showboaters. He may be doing this for his fans.
He told me he was going to do that. When I talked to him earlier today, he said, I'm going to find a place I can do a whip. I think those tractor tires. And indeed, he's throwing style in here in the corners.
And watch how far he goes into this firewood section. Makes me nervous sometimes.
Whoa!
He just bombs it, but lands with a ton of traction, sorts his way out. Gets through, wearing the Troy Lee gear, the 6D helmet. Wally's such a stud.
Just keeps the right hand on the grip, and everything else is flying all over the place. Even a heel clicker under the bars. And a mistake or on purpose wheelie after, I don't even know. Palmer a 44.5. Prochnow's 44.1 holds up. He's still in the hot seat. And now I bring up Cody Webb. This guy can definitely lay it down.
Cody Webb, so fast, and like we talked about, so due for a win. He's on that Beta 302 stroke, and watch this guy ride. Trials champion, rides a lot on the back tire. Very tall, very lanky, but tons of technique, and kind of uses his height to his advantage.
Yeah, this rider is kind of following that Jeff Aaron mold, tall trials guy. He's kind of the next one to take the baton from Aaron, and then just like Aaron moved here in EnduroCross and has been lethal. Webb can run with anybody, and he's showing some really strong style right now.
Cody's been riding a lot of motocross too, which I think has really helped his aggression and it's helped his corner speed as well. And you watch him through this rock turn, he's carrying a lot more momentum in. He's not slowing down as much in the turns as he did, 2-3 years ago. So he's really adapted as a rider.
Man, the lap is already over. This guy's on fire. Cody Webb here out of California. Let's see. Yes, a 38.8.
Wow. That is smoking. That's nearly as fast as we saw earlier in the day, Jason. And right now the track's different. It's kind of beat.
Gary Sutherland will be up next on the 324. Let's see if we can get the headset down there and talk to some of these guys while they're on the hot seat as Sutherland approaches the start and finish line area. Who we got down there? You got Jason and Chris up here. Who we got? Who we got down there on the podium?
You guys got Wally Palmer.
Oh, wow, Wally, man. You threw in like 5 different whips, scrubs, wheelies. You had it all, man.
Yeah, our owners are pumped up and somebody's out there having fun.
Wally, let me ask you, how has the track changed since you first went out there today?
It's slippery, really slippery, and it's tiring. But I'm just out there to have fun. There's some whips for the crowds and try not to get hurt.
Hey, how pumped are you just to get into the main event and not have to worry about all that?
Oh, I'm just happy to get in. It was a battle. It was great.
All right. Well, good job, Wally, man. Thanks for putting on a show. We know we can count on you for that.
Thanks.
All right, that's a wild Wally Palmer out of New Jersey. Here's Gary Sutherland, just completed his lap, and we'll see where he is second. He has a 41.3. That'll edge out Prochnow, but it's about 3 seconds short of Webb. Who knows? Webb can go the distance here.
I think so. I would not count Webb out. He is so hungry and just really has all the pieces to the puzzle except for a #1 trophy.
Yeah, again, he has that #2 on the bike for a reason, because he's second in the series last year. Next up will be Jeff Aaron here on the #4. And I think we got Cody Webb with us. Cody, you down there?
Yeah, how's it going?
Man, how was that lap? Looks solid to us.
Yeah, it felt great. I was being a wimp all day and finally manned up, and I guess so far it's been the fastest qualifier of the day, so I've got to step it up for the main event.
Cody, you're bringing a lot of aggression to the track today. Do you think it's your night for a win? What's your strategy?
Earlier today, I was a little messed up in the head, and I regrouped and talked with my dad and my mechanic, and we got things dialed in for the main event now. And it'd be great to get my first win here in California, and California myself. So You just got to throw it down, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, what kind of a boost would it be if your time holds up going into that main event with the fastest lap and hot laps? What kind of confidence would that be?
Yeah, that'll be huge confidence. And plus, it's first gate pick, and you know, it's so far tonight's been pretty crucial to be on the inside, and confidence will be huge, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, good job, Cody. So far, so good, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Here comes Jeff Aaron, and Jeff Aaron with a 42.2. That's not enough. That's going to put him third behind Sutherland and Webb. So Webb hanging in there in the hot seat.
Absolutely, making a statement. And Cody, you're still on. What do you think it's going to take to win the main event tonight?
It's going to take an insane amount of aggression. Everyone's really pushing it tonight. Track's a little bit easier, and you got to go 110% all night and don't make any mistakes, and that's going to be the key.
Yeah, there really any sections that you think are going to be the deciding factor? Like, if I just get through here, or are all the obstacles fairly easy and you just got to go fast?
Most of the obstacles are fairly easy tonight. The rocks aren't too bad. Depends on lappers. I think lappers will be a big key in the rocks.
Yep.
And then in the matrix, earlier today, everyone's getting a huge amount of time by jumping the whole thing, and I finally went for it. So, you know, I got that on my side. A couple of the guys do too, and we'll see if anyone jumps the water hole. That's pretty dangerous, and you know, you can definitely bite the bullet if you go for that. And we'll just got to be smart, push, and you know, try and get our first win.
We're watching Max Gersten out here, by the way, at the number 15. As you look at the main event, who's the biggest threat? Who's the guy that you really got to put the target on right now?
Definitely those top three guys in the series right now.
Yep.
Like Taddy's always been right there, one of the strongest guys. Mike Brown's been having a great year this year. Everything's just been falling right on the plate for him. And, you know, Taylor Roberts really been stepping it up. A lot of these guys are all riding really good. And Kyle Redmond just switched to a new bike. He's killing it today. And, you know, I just got to do what I do best, push it all 12 laps, and, you know, take them down.
Max Gersten ended up 6th overall, so you're still in the hot seat.
Yeah,
Is it getting hotter and hotter, man? It's going to be interesting as it comes down to 38.8 was about as fast as anyone's gone all day long, so the track not breaking down that bad.
Yeah, it's really not bad at all, and actually, earlier today they were running 38.9s, I think, but, you know, I didn't even jump the water hole, so I think that's saying something. If I'm getting the rocks, seem a little bit drier than earlier today. Earlier, you know, they water the track and things are really nasty, but you know, they do a good job of keeping the track in good order for us.
All right, so we actually saw the fastest lap of all right there.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. And Cody, I got to give you props. Your aggression, fitness, everything looks great. I know you talked about riding a bit more motocross. Do you think that's helped you out in the last couple months over the summer break?
Oh yeah, riding motocross has been huge for me. You know, being from California, there's nowhere good to ride in the summer. It's always dry and dusty. And you know, I've been going to the moto tracks, train with a lot of local pro guys, and they're all on my side trying to get me going, help me out in the EnduroCross Series. They love to see what I'm doing, and it's been a huge help to me.
Justin Soleil just came across on the number 6, hit a 42.2. He's third, so Cody, you're still in there.
Yeah.
Still in the hot seat.
I'm liking this place.
Yeah. Can you get any of the motocross guys to try the Trials bike or even EnduroCross? Are they interested in going the other way like you're hanging out with them?
Yeah, I got a couple guys who are definitely interested. It's just a matter of, you know, getting the time spent maybe on a weekend, free weekend, and get them to meet up with me and try and get them out on the track and see how they look. I actually saw Adams and Cyril out here tonight, so that was kind of cool to see him, spectate, and see what we're all about.
Do you think that Trials, is that one of those things that anyone can benefit from, even if they don't want to compete in it? It's got to build great all-around bike skill.
Oh yeah, you know, riding Trials my whole life, I have insane technical skill, especially with clutch and traction control, and you know, being an EnduroCross rider, that plays out perfectly, especially, you know, this off-road situations, things definitely get really slick.
Now, speaking of that slickness, Cody, we almost saw Kyle go down earlier just with the back end stepping out. What do you do when the track starts to get so slippery, so wet next to the wet stuff? Do you back it down, or you just try and charge through it?
I definitely back it down. I just try and carry more speed. Sometimes I'll even run a gear higher to kind of lug the bike and torque it around the track. And you know, that's usually the best bet. You just got to be on your toes and make sure you don't make a big mistake.
Kyle Redmond comes across the number 7. He is 5th fastest with a 42.8. Still going.
Still here.
Yeah.
Hanging in. So tell us about the bike. You're on that Beta 300. It seems like you got working pretty well. Still well performance doing the suspension. You make any major changes over the break, or is it the same setup that you ran in Sacramento?
I didn't even ride Sacramento. I was out for about 2 months with a broken foot. So this is my first race back in the series, and we're running almost the same setup we had in Vegas. Today, some of these lines, you got to hit them really hard, so we went really stiff as we could go on the forks without revalving them. So, you know, we're going as hard as we can tonight, and you know, doing the best we can with the resources and time we have.
Got Corey Graffunder out there right now on the 118 trying to knock Cody Webb off, who's still talking to us down there on the podium. Yeah, the 300 two-stroke. This class is really strange how some have gone to 450s, some are on 250s. Taddy Blazusiak switching back to a 250, by the way. Mike Brown on a 350. The 300, you like the two-stroke combination for you?
Yeah, the two-stroke's great because last year I was struggling a lot with fatigue at the end of the race. And, you know, it's a lot of bike to carry around through the whole race over rocks and logs. And, you know, I made the switch to the two-stroke just because I wanted to have more energy and aggression coming into the race. And, you know, I've had a couple slip-ups here and there this year. And, you know, I think there's definitely some tracks that favor 4 strokes versus 2 strokes. But so far it's been a great pick for me. I love riding the bike. And, you know, it definitely throws people off when I show up at the motor track in a 2-stroke beta and everyone's, who is this guy?
You're probably the tallest guy there, too.
Yeah, probably. That's pretty sure.
Now, Cody, we've got Colton on the track right now. Tell us what you think of him. How's he riding tonight? Give us some insight.
Colton's got a good backing right now. You know, he's always been an amazing rider, but it seemed like he didn't quite have things playing out for him. And this year's been really strong. He's been riding great, and you know, he could be one of the guys to take me off the hot seat right now. Hopefully not, but he's been riding great lately, and I got to give hats off to him. We used to actually ride trials together, train together, so maybe I gave him some of my secrets.
Yeah, don't give out too many.
I'm gone.
You shouldn't have told him all those secrets. He edges you by a second. All right, Cody. Well, you can go back and rest up. I'll try to put a silver lining on this.
All right, no problem.
All right, congratulations. Good run.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. All right, that's Cody Webb. That was a long time on the hot seat, but Colton Hager, you could see, man, he was so aggressive on that lap with the number 10, and that 37.8 is the fastest. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Not many riders left. Here's Taylor Robert.
Yeah, we'll see how Taylor does. He is on fire tonight. He won the X Games EnduroCross main event in Germany, so he's tasted victory before. He wants to get back up there, but Colton, too, such a solid rider. You know, we can't glaze over that. He's carrying a ton of speed everywhere, and his Honda's working really well.
Whoa, Robert with the double over the water. Couldn't quite get the line I think he wanted on the inside of the corner after it. But he still made up some time there. That could be the difference maker. Let's see what the Kawasaki rider can do through the rest of the lap.
If you watch Taylor ride, too, he's been riding a lot of trials. He rides trials bicycles. The guy is so fit. Oh, going down, though.
Clapping right now, guys.
Yeah, Colton Hager.
Nothing bad. I like Taylor, but I want to win.
Oh, why not? Yeah, plus he doubled the water, so we don't know what time he would have had. We'll never know.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out Brown and Taddy because they both jumped it earlier, and I beat both of them. So hopefully they have a little slip up, and I cleaned up my mistakes.
Your lap looked good, man.
Thanks, dude.
Is that the kind of lap you could do every lap of the main, or is it different on hot laps?
I can't do it every lap, but definitely different hot laps. Like, that was just like, put me over the edge. I need to be consistent all 12. Because you go and do a hot lap like that, then your next lap will be like 5 seconds off the pace.
I see. Well, I'm glad
He's getting bobbled. He's getting bobbled. He feels the pressure. Tell me about it. He feels the pressure.
You're a good announcer. Walk us through this. What's Taddy doing right now, Colton?
He's getting a little spastic. He's going to jump this thing right now. No, he didn't do it.
No. I think you're in his head. Think you're in his head?
We'll see. I mean, he's definitely going for it. Even if I'm first, second, I mean, honestly, I don't care. It's 12 laps, so I'm going to give her for 12.
Now, what's your technique? What's your strategy? If you get the whole shot, you're ahead of all these guys.
I'm just going to focus forward and not let them bother me, but it looks like he's going to put a good one in, so we'll see.
Let's see what Taddy has. Here's the champ. And not enough, a 39.7, so you're still there, Colton.
2 seconds? Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Where did I find 2 seconds?
You're fast tonight, buddy. That podium's looking good on you.
I've been going fast lately, for sure. Yeah, Taddy, you like that?
Yeah.
How's the Honda working tonight, Colton?
No, it's good, for sure. Pumped on it. See what Brownie does. You know, he's definitely giving her. It's cool. I mean, I was fastest in LA. I was fast in Sacramento. I mean, I've been the fastest rider. I just haven't put it all together, so I'm working on it, guys.
You do know you can win tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, here's Brown. Oh, stumbled through the rocks himself. That's the part that got him this afternoon.
He's amazing, though. Like, he has those stumbles, and he still, like, does crazy stuff just to make it up. It's amazing.
Yeah, Brownie
like
looking.
BMX style right there. He didn't jump it. Wow.
All right. Well, that might lend itself to you. Oh, no, a few more mistakes. Feet off the pegs.
Yeah.
He's still hustling, but you're looking good there.
I think, honestly, I want to ride ISTE because I'm good at this stuff. I think Kirk Caselli should be listening and put me on the team.
I know you've qualified for some nationals. I know you can do it all, man. Here it is, Mike Brown. Let's see what he gets.
Oh, wow.
Not gonna happen.
Oh, Colton.
You got it.
Nice ride, buddy. What does that mean for you going into the main event, being the hot lap winner tonight?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to focus forward, like I said. Hopefully I get that whole shot. In Sacramento, the same thing happened. You know, I I got the fastest lap, and then I didn't completely freaking do it, you know? So I'm gonna give her hell tonight.
All right, yeah, who's the favorite tonight?
Oh, I am. What do you mean?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right.
That's a question?
Rhetorical.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thank you. Colton Haker stamping his claim to it, and a big gap. Look at this. A full second over Cody Webb in the rest of the field.
And there's no lack of confidence with Colton either.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I knew he wouldn't say, oh, we're all good. Anyone can win. I knew he would call his own number.
Very solid. Good ride on the Honda, and I think he's happy going into the main.
Yeah. Skip his way all the way back to the pits. We're going to take a break. We'll have our women's main event, followed by our EnduroCross main. So stay with us right here on MotorTrend.
The fastest name in radio control.
One and done. It's a drag race show. Everything about the race is negotiable.
I'm down for 6 in the jump.
Start a race,
man. Perfect. More than hit the line.
One negotiation, one race with everything on the line. If you win 10 races on one and done, you get an extra $50,000 bonus. See you at the track.
One and done. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Only on MAV TV.
We're back here. It's Geico AMA EnduroCross, fueled by Monster Energy. Jason Wygant, Chris Dennison giving you the call. We'll have our women's main event coming up here in just a few moments. Women's class, they've certainly got some attention, showing what they can do racing here in this series, and also, of course, at the X Games events, which that is EnduroCross. They just do not pay points toward the series there. And it's pretty cool. We got a lot of the converts. When you see Sarah Whitmore, who's pretty much a full-time EnduroCross rider now. She's also a motocrosser at heart. That's what she grew up doing. Tara Geiger also here this weekend, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, some very solid racers in this class, Jason. And the women's class is no joke. You know, the guys in the stands, if you're sitting down there looking at the fans, everybody's impressed at how well these women ride over the technical terrain.
Now, we do not have Maria Forsberg with us this weekend. I believe she's racing in the GNCC series, but Forrest Lee, who was injured earlier in the year, is back. She's certainly going to be a contender. That's Louise Forsley on the number 2 KTM.
Great to see Louise back, and she's worked on her aggression, but like you said, she's been hurt.
And Gudish there on the inside of the Yamaha 217 trying to push everyone out. Here we are into the rocks. That's Whitmore in the 89. She goes down with Gudish on the 217, and they're all left in a heap on this mountain.
Yeah, difficult first turn. I believe that's Chantel Bykirk on the number 3 up front. We see the ladies try and get through that first turn, but that first rock section so brutal.
So it is all sorts of crossed up. Bykirk has now lost the lead. That is the 211. Or is that the 27?
That's number 11.
Oh, sorry, that's 11.
Up front. Yeah, on the gas.
One of the Canadian riders, and now Bykirk able to take it back from her on the number 3. We're going to show you the replay of this carnage off the start.
Everybody goes into the rocks and just kind of gets hung up, loses momentum, bounces off each other. There's really no good line when you're coming in with that much traffic. It's just kind of survival mode.
Yeah, and they only come into that section with that little momentum off the start. Oh, and here was our leader at one point, Harlan. Then she lost the lead to Bykirk, and now the chain has come off. So she has gone from first to second and now out of this race. And you had mentioned that a couple times, those rock sections, that can happen quite easily.
Yeah, what happens if you bend the tabs on the swing arm, it moves your chain guide over. The chain just physically can't stay on the sprocket. And it's a heartbreaking thing when you're in the top 2 in your main event. But right now, Bykirk up front, looking solid. We've seen her in this position before, and she always has a smile on her face, Jason. She loves EnduroCross.
Got Morgan Tank in second and Kendall Reed in third. There's Tank on the 31. There's a lap rider between second and first. And a couple of the other riders are trying to work their way back through traffic. Forsley, a bad start here. She's way back. 426. That's Megan Blackburn on the Verb off-road back machine. She's right in this battle. Here's 31, 27, and 217. That's second, third, and fourth. A pass made by the 217. And now going around into second. So Morgan Tank makes a mistake, and then Gudish on the 217 goes down.
You see, Gudish got sucked into one of those holes in the rock section, just totally trapped the front end of the bike. And I think the track is changing in a negative way for sure, Jason. We saw before it was as smooth as EnduroCross gets. Now it's just getting so rough and jumbled from so many racers battling it out on the course tonight.
And at one point, the 3, Bykirk, was under pressure. She had made a mistake before the lines. Tank got right with her. Then Tank made a mistake.
Yeah, Bykirk too, good style on the bike. I mean, she's an aggressive off-road rider up from Canada. She knows how to ride this kind of stuff, and it's fun to see somebody succeed through that on the KTM 4-stroke. She's finding the right line. She's doing what she needs to do.
They got the chain back on of the number 11 of Harlan, so she's back in the race, although a lap down. Now, at this point, big lead for the number 3. Can she back it down? Does she even realize what's going on? Because look, pretty much everyone else is stuck on this mountain.
It becomes more about strategy.
Oh, and she's gone down on her own in the rocks.
Yeah, just trying to stay up. She's still got the lead right now, but you can't be making mistakes like that when you're out front.
Yeah, that could allow them to close back in. Remember, Tank was right on her rear tire through this section a lap ago, and until she got stuck on this mountain. Oh, can she get through? All right, she's stuck. How close is the rest of the field? Can she get going? Doesn't have enough momentum.
This is it. Once she gets through this, she's done. Never get through that rock section.
No.
Perfect. On 2 wheels. I think she's pretty pleased to get through it. You saw her. The thing you have to do is slow the rear tire down. You want it to grab traction. You can't just spin. And she has great throttle control. She did that right.
Yeah, that was like slow motion making it happen. So here it is. Chantal Bykirk out of Canada is a half a lap away from a victory. It's almost like she knew she was going to have problems on that hill, and she just tried to manage it as best she could. Don't panic. Lose a little bit of time, but not a ton of it. And it's about to pay off for her.
Yeah,
we can hear in the arena someone's bike has gone down and the throttle's still paying.
Yeah, and Chantel, she's looking tired, bless her heart. I think she's putting in so much effort right now. And you see how gnarly the track is getting. All the sections are soaked. There's some big ruts in that turn right after the water feature, and she can do it. This is it.
Yeah, 1 corner to go. She clears that, and the checkered flag is out. Chantal Bykirk is your winner in the women's main event. Looking at Rachel Gudish here in the 217 Yamaha. She has had her ups and downs, literally, in this one. But it's going to be enough for a runner-up position. And you see she's got the ISDE, the skunk helmet. She'll be headed overseas in just a few days as well for the Women's Cup team. And there is the number 2, Forsley.
Yeah, that may have been Tatum Sick in third sneaking in, but outstanding ride for Gudish. Second place, she's not going to be disappointed with that.
No, that's good, and a good prep for the ISDE that's coming up. I think Morgan Tank might be our 3rd place finisher. Everyone else might have been a lap down with all the problems that we had on that rock mountain. Morgan Tank, there it is, 4 laps in the books. She takes 3rd on the number 31 KTM out of Riverside, California. You know she's got a lot of friends in the stands. That's not too far from us here in Ontario. Everyone else, they all had their shot, but it really just came down to who made the least amount of mistakes on that one big rock section, and that was Chantal Bykirk.
Chantal was flying this race too, Jason. It was cool to see her. I mean, I think she has great style on the bike, and you know, you see some of the amateur racers who are now up in the stands. They're watching her going, she might have something for the boys too.
Yeah.
She's riding so solid.
Yeah, seriously, you could learn from how well she was able to handle some of those sections, especially like when she got trapped in that last lap. It was just a masterful job of getting the momentum and getting the bike back going. And she's about to celebrate. It goes up to the podium. We'll get a chance to chat with her. Chantal Bykirk out of Canada taking the victory. You got Jason Wygant and Chris Dennison up here for our live webcast. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you get it done? There was carnage all over the track, and you had a few mistakes, but they really weren't that bad.
I had a lot of mistakes, but I got a new bike, and it helps me get through them a little bit quicker, so I'm loving it.
Chantal, I love your technique coming into that final rock section. It seemed like you really used your head.
Yeah.
How difficult was that when you hit that for the final time?
I just wanted to try to get through it as best as I could because I knew it was the last lap, so I just hope for the best.
Well, phenomenal job. That was everything you need to do.
Thank you.
You want to thank some people?
I'd like to thank RPM Racing, Maxis, CD Boots, Recluse, KTM Canada. Big thanks to Troy Lee, my family at home. Thank you, guys.
All right, congratulations. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, that's Chantel Bykirk. She is our women's main event winner. One race remains. That's our Pro EnduroCross final, and it's coming your way as soon as we're done with this commercial break, so don't go anywhere.
Wish I was made of money.
I wish you were too.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
Being a champion takes a lot of work, especially when it comes to keeping my engines lubricated. Whether it's motocross or endurocross, Lucas Oil products give me what it takes to keep my engine alive. With the high intensity at which I take on each terrain, no other oil fits the high performance demands that I need to be on top of the podium. I'm Colton Haker, and the only oil I trust is Lucas.
The 2013 Geico AMA EnduroCross Series has been brought to you by Geico. You can save money on motorcycle and ATV insurance. Go to geico.com for info. By Moose Racing. With thousands of items from gaskets to gear, Moose has you covered. By Lucas Oil Products, makers of high-performance motorcycle oil. It works. And by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Well, there has been a tremendous build-up for this, the third main event of the 2013 season in Geico EnduroCross. It's all on the line here. Taddy Blazusiak, your champion year after year after year, including a perfect season 2 years ago. Now, for the standards he's set, for the type of expectations we normally have for him, he is on the ropes. Mike Brown taking both main event wins this year. Colton Haker, your fastest rider in the hot laps this afternoon. Taddy's in a tough spot here. He's really got to respond. There's the number 10 of Hager. That fast lap, more than a second quicker than anyone else, and he gets the inside gate pick.
Pretty amazing. You know, I'm glad to see Colton was able to get his helmet back on his head and line it up on the inside right there. That's a good spot. He can control the first turn. His Honda is hooking up today. We've seen that. That's Eric from Johnny Campbell Racing on his side. They build phenomenal motors. Colton's working right now. I think he's got what it takes to win the main event tonight, Jason.
Well, he had that inside gate pick in his heat race, and some other riders got a good jump from the outside, and he just hung around on the inside, calmly controlled it, and ended up in the number 1 spot. He won his heat. He was the fastest in the hot laps that we just saw, and now he has the inside gate here. Haker, certainly a favorite, but Mike Brown has won the 2 main events we've had so far, and as I was alluding to, Taddy Blazusiak can ill afford to go much further in this series without getting a win. He has to reestablish himself.
Yeah, this is the point where Taddy could really make a statement by coming out strong with a win. And from the inside, there's Colton, Cody Webb, Mike Brown, Taddy. Just those 4, there's the potential for huge trouble coming into the first turn together because every single one of those guys wants to be at the top of the podium.
A lot longer race here. Explain the difference between this and the heat races that we saw.
10 laps is tough because you have to conserve energy, but you have to find that balance where you're working at kind of the optimal pace, where everything's efficient, you're not wasting energy, but at the same time, you have to sprint the first couple of laps.
Yep. It's a 12-lap main event we're hearing tonight, and the lap time's pretty quick. They're getting into the 30s, just below that 40-second mark. But even Colton Haker said, I can't do 12 laps like I did that hot lap. It's a totally different strategy when you have to do it in a race as opposed to a time qualifying scenario.
There again, the technique too, Jason, is not to not make mistakes. You just want to minimize the mistakes and recover as quickly as you can. And the guy that wins tonight, no matter who it is, I guarantee he may fall down, he may stumble, but he's going to pin it.
All right, you've got Hager, you got the number 2 of Webb right there with him on the start. 2 riders with the trials riding background. Of course, Mike Brown, the motocrosser. Taddy Blazusiak, who is a trials rider. We're going to see which technique and which riding style lends itself best to our 3rd EnduroCross main event of the season. Let's go racing here in California. Brown edging everyone out into turn 1. Hager trying to use that inside. No, Mike Brown nails the whole shot. He's got them in every race so far this year, and he's got it again. Hager and Blazusiak going at it.
And look at Taddy on the outside with the aggression, Jason. He is just pinning it right now. He's not giving up an inch. He knows he needs to get ahead of Colton.
Colton's on the inside, though, in this corner. Can he squeeze off? Yes, he holds the number 1 behind him. And Gary Sutherland in the number 4 position.
And these laps are critical for Mike Brown because he needs to get ahead and just haul tail. He needs to pull a gap on these guys as much as possible, because what that'll do is cause Taddy and Colton to kind of get stuck on each other while Brownie pulls away.
Hager's certainly not going to be a pushover for Blazusiak. Let's give you a replay of the start.
Brownie just came from that outside, perfect drive. Cut over on Cody into Colton and just took it right there. But Colton, too, he got through the rocks pretty well. And then Taddy just pinned it. You saw him on the outside kind of coming on top of the logs. He didn't care. He found a hole. He went for it, and that put him in a great position over on the left.
Well, you can't get a much better scenario than this. 3 of the favorites, all with good starts. Mike Brown looking to make it a hat trick, win the first 3 main events of the year.
That firewood section, so tough. It just shows even if you're Mike Brown, you can't get through there without a little bit of trouble. But he's doing what he needs to do. He is so phenomenally fit right now. He's been training so hard on the bicycle. And I think it's really going to pay off with 10 laps remaining in a main event.
How hard is it to stay relaxed and keep control of the bike? It's that far out from underneath you.
It's all about breathing. You know, Taddy said before that he essentially yawns while he's riding. He's just sucking in these big gulping breaths of air. And you have to do that. But what happened to Colton?
Yeah, he was in 2nd. He was holding Blazusiak off. Now we've lost him. He's back to 3rd. So it's the KTM riders 1 and 2.
In a huge battle for 3rd right now. We've got Colton, Gary Sutherland right behind him. That's Cody Webb in the blue helmet, followed by Taylor Roberts. So those 4 guys, any one of them could land on that 3rd podium spot. Big
Hager goes down big. And Webb almost comes unglued, manages to stay on it. Here's Graf under the 118 trying to get around Hager. Oh, Robert has gone down in the rocks.
Drama out there, but Colton recovered really quickly. I don't think that crash phased him a lot. He's getting back up, moving his clutch a little bit. Brownie right now, he's keeping it on 2 wheels, and he's doing what he needs to do.
Feet off the pegs for Brown, but like you said, you're not going to have a perfect EnduroCross main event. He's trying to just minimize the damage. Let's show you what happened here to the number 10.
Colton hit that hard, landed, and just kind of looked like it skipped out as he came out of this firewood section. Lost the front end, bucked him kind of straight to his shoulder and head. That was a gnarly crash, but
yeah, that could have hurt.
He's a tough kid. He's a very good rider, and unfortunately he fell down.
Brown a mistake, and Blazusiak ready to attack. So the 2 KTM teammates are about to battle, and they've got a big lead over everyone else by virtue of those crashes. So they can take some chances now.
Absolutely, and Brownie's not the type of rider we talked about earlier you're going to pressure into anything, but he knows Taddy's right behind him. He just wants him off of his tail.
Yeah, we'll see if he can extend it back out. I think he actually has a little bit after that mistake.
And happy to see Taddy doing well. You know, he's been off his rhythm a little bit, but he is right where he needs to be behind Brownie. And Taddy at this point, he's got 8 laps, so he can kind of stand to watch Mike a little bit, but he can't do that for more than 2 laps. He needs to get around him.
This rock section seems to be working a little bit better for Taddy, but he was held up by a rider who had gone down, didn't have the chance to make the pass. But if he's close the next time around and the track is clear, look out for the number 1.
Now, Jason, you think that double over the water could come into play later if these guys get close enough?
Well, that'd be the hope. We certainly want to see it be that close and maybe have to pull out all the stops. Brown did say it was getting more and more slippery as the night goes on. Brown almost lost the front end in that corner.
And the interesting thing, too, is he's getting into lappers at this point. You see he's got Jeff Aaron ahead of it.
Blazusiak on the inside. Yeah, Jeff Aaron's holding them up, and Blazusiak has taken the lead from Mike Brown. So the first time this year, someone has been able to take the measure of Brown after he gets the start. Brown trying to fight back. Blazusiak stuck.
That's tough. These guys are teammates, but they both want to win.
And Blazusiak runs the rear wheel into the front wheel of Brown. I think he was just trying to get to the line he wanted. That might allow the rest of the field to close in a little bit.
This is where the lappers come into play. It's a small track already, and you add in extra bodies, extra bikes. it's difficult to get around. So Taddy, that was the edge he needed to get ahead of Mike. But I'll tell you what, Mike hates losing to Taddy. Even though they're teammates, even though they're buddies, that's it. He wants to be up front.
Well, yeah, talk about the mind game between the teammates here. What would this mean if these two guys in a straight-up fight, whoever takes the win, it's going to be a big advantage. Let's take you back through this Battle of the Rocks.
They're both coming in riding so well, and I think at this point it was Taddy just kind of hanging Mike up. Taddy got back after it, and both of those guys just grabbed a handful. You see Taddy's rear tire just spinning. He forced the line.
Yeah, he was aggressive there, but you got to be. But again, what does it mean for these two? It's a mano-a-mano battle. This is a head game.
They may be teammates. They're both riding for KTM. They will both take each other out in an instant if it means the win. They'll do anything it takes to get to that top spot. Brownie right now, he's a couple bike lengths back, but don't count him out. We have 5 laps to go. Anything could happen to Taddy, especially with so many lappers ahead of him.
Yeah, Brown's got a couple sections of the track that seem to lend itself to his style. He closes back in. Mistake from Taddy. Don't want to have to rush it through here too much. Cody Webb in third, by the way, has caught Brown. He's not out of it.
You know, when you hit on a good point, Taddy's not rushing it. He's riding really smart right now, and that's the cool thing about Taddy. He's such a smart guy. He knows when to back it down. He knows when to wick it up. We saw him kind of dial up the aggression as he got past Brownie. At this point, he's riding smooth, trying to maintain the lead.
Doubling into the water, but not over it. Brown, does he have that in his back pocket? Will he try? You see Webb there on the white bike in third, keeping Brown honest.
Now, both these guys are running very similar lap times, Jason, so that means Taddy's not really pulling away, but the wild card is what happens when they get into lappers.
Only 4 laps to go. Webb a little mistake through the firewood. Last time around, Webb a 41-second lap, 3 seconds quicker than both Blazusiak and Brown. If he can maintain that pace, cut the mistakes out, he certainly has the speed.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. The intensity level is kind of winding up. If you're Brown, you're getting more and more frantic. That causes you to ride tight, elevated heart rate and everything. And right-hand twist, he's going to be grabbing more throttle.
Yeah, that's the solution here at 3 laps to go. Just twist the thing harder. Here's Blazusiak. Brown still in the picture. It's not over.
Brownie looks like he's catching up a tad. And once they get on 2 laps to go, mistake out of Taddy.
And now Brown is right there, and the logs, or the firewood, have been kicked out onto the dirt, so that section is more treacherous than ever. Time running out. These guys have to be fatigued. They've got to be tired. They've got to be breathing hard, and Brown now has Blazusiak right in front of him.
What Brown's going to do is try and pressure Taddy into a mistake, meaning he's going to try and get so close that Taddy isn't thinking forward, he's thinking behind him, and that's when Brown's going to strike. I think he can do it if he gets close enough.
It could come down to that firewood section. Here's what it looked like the previous lap, Chris.
Taddy getting out of shape. He may be getting fatigued a little bit. Just came in kind of sideways, and he's still trying to keep it going just straight ahead of him. But look at all that firewood that's been kicked out of that section.
Look at all that energy that he had to use to keep that forward progress. He's pulled it back out a bit on Brown. 1 lap to go. Could this be the breakthrough win in the point series that Taddy Blazusiak needs?
I'll tell you what, if we see Taddy win this one, we're going to have a very mad Mike Brown on our hands later on. Yeah. Brownie still could do it, but with Taddy right now, he's getting around the lappers clean. Graffunder could hold him up a tad, which could help Mike Brown.
He's inched away just a bit. So Brown not able to pressure him to these final corners, but Graffunder not making it easy on Blazusiak. And this is the section, the firewood, and almost claim Blazusiak. Can he get through there clean? Oh, feet off, sideways. Manages to hang on.
Pulls it a little bit out of shape, but he gets there. I don't know. Unless he falls, Brown can't get him.
Checkered flag is out. Taddy Blazusiak wins in Ontario. And that was a statement win. He is happy. He takes the measure of Mike Brown, makes the pass. Cody Webb, a great ride for third to put the Beta up on the podium.
And we saw after that vet class, everybody high-fiving. You didn't really see that out of Mike Brown. You know, second place to him, it's win-lose if you're Mike Brown.
No, and that's 3 points gained in the series for Blazusiak, who had a 10-point deficit. It'll be down to 7. He needed that one badly, and he did what he had to do. He tracked the veteran down and gets the victory.
Taddy shaking those arms out. He had to work for that one, Jason. You could see that put the pressure on him, but really that's mental strength that he's able to maintain the lead that long. Yeah, because you knew that Brown was looking to pounce and take advantage of KTM people. Very happy. It's actually Ryan Dungy's brother there spinning the wrenches. That helps out with all facets of KTM racing. Gonna get a little celebration here from the champ. It's usually a specialty. Taddy loves his fans, like we were saying earlier. He'll do some wheelies and nose wheelies and possibly the worm breakdancing move, but it's very fun to see him this excited. He's back on top of the podium.
Here are your points would be after this. There's a little celebration from Taddy. Like we said, it was a 10-point lead for Brown. It's now down to 7. A rough night for Taylor. Robert has allowed Blazusiak to pull away from him. It could be just between the teammates only for this title. This is what it's all about with the number 1.
Yeah, Taddy's not back in the points lead, but a win right now is an awfully good start. We still have 4 rounds remaining after this. He could easily grab the championship.
I think he's feeling pretty good right now. This is one of the biggest celebrations yet from Taddy Blazusiak. Of course, we'll catch him down on the podium, get a chance to talk to our top 3. We'll actually have Lorette Nicoll joining us for the victory celebration. But for Taddy, it's all smiles. Things are back on track. Was good at X Games and certainly good tonight.
Huge grin under that Red Bull helmet. Taddy Blazusiak taking the top spot. Mike Brown in second. And third place, Cody Webb. Results say Taddy, but Colton made it up to 5th. How about that ride?
Yeah, how about that? The big crash. Again, though, has the speed, just not able to quite put it together. You know, one of these nights he'll do it. Redmond, a good run. Sutherland was up front early. He was solid all the way through to finish in the top 10 and 7th. Graphite, another night, he won with 8th. Soleil and Aaron round out the top 10. That is a loaded main event field.
Yeah, nice to see Taylor Robert up there in 4th, too. And the points chase, the way it works, you just want to be as far up as you can every weekend. I mean, with Colton, he had the speed to win tonight. Just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, and maybe that's the difference, the experience of Taddy, who's won a ton of these things, and certainly Mike Brown, who's racked up some of his own. And when it counted in the main event, they were able to put the start and the laps together. Taddy Blazusiak, he's soaking wet. Oh, we're going to give him the headset. Didn't even know we were going to do this. Taddy Blazusiak, you're back. You got your first win of the year in the points series, and you did it the hard way. You had to get around Mike Brown. It has to feel good.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like the first couple laps were insane. I'm telling you, like I got a pretty good start. I blocked a couple guys on the outside, and then with me and Mike, we made a couple mistakes. So but still, I'm pretty happy with my riding. I've been jumping pretty much everything and hitting my lines, and being consistent. And my fitness is great. And yeah, walking away with the win here, it's really, really great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next race and try to keep the momentum going. And I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Outstanding, good ride, Taddy. Happy to see you back on the podium. Any sponsors you want to thank?
Oh yeah, for sure. But huge thank you. Got to go to KTM Factory Team, for the bike. The bike is great. WP guys, suspension guys, they made an incredible job. All my sponsors: Red Bull, Fox, Aero, Glorify, Verva, everybody. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's been a couple months since I've been here in the first place, but I worked hard and we got everything around, and I think. We'll try to go from here.
All right, congrats. We'll let you talk to the live announcing crew. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that's Taddy Blazusiak, a very happy winner. And the points, a couple rounds remaining in this series. And it's always about that one big mistake. You saw, for example, what happened to Hager. You can have the speed and end up finishing 4th or 5th of the night. That's the big swing that Blazusiak's looking for. Hoping that Brown makes that mistake.
Oh, it's such a gamble. And going into the Denver round, our next round, Mike Brown's still holding the lead after 3 events. So that's a pretty good spot for him to be in, but he's not happy enough with it. I think he wanted the win tonight.
Nah, Mike Brown is a racer's racer. It doesn't matter. It's EnduroCross, MotorCross, Supercross, out in the desert of Baja, which he's doing a lot nowadays. He races to win. You even heard about the guy's lethal in testing and on the practice track. So, yeah, he certainly didn't want to see that win streak go up in smoke tonight, but Taddy was able to get the measure of him. Brown kept him close all the way through to the end, though.
Yeah, and Mike will be too hard on himself. I think second place is awesome.
Here is your event schedule in the series. Denver, Colorado will be our next event for the series. We will have the live webcast on the October 26th event, Everett, Washington. Then the boys will go racing in Boise, Idaho, and we will have one more live webcast at our championship finale in Las Vegas, Nevada, where it all started in the Orleans Casino. I think we're going to send it down with Mike Brown in just a moment to talk to our second place finisher and still the points leader. How'd it go tonight, Mike?
It was good. Got a good start there and just kind of got a little tight, but got onto the lapper guys back there in the rock around the corner section and got behind on the other side of, I don't think who it was, Jeff Aaron maybe, and costed me a little bit. But, if I'd had a few more laps, I was getting my arms were loosening up a little bit and I was starting to feel better. So it was okay. The second's better than last, so but I still want to win. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, what's it like battling with a teammate, especially when you guys get really close in that rock section?
It's not teammates. It's just racing.
That's what we like to hear. Anyone you want to throw a shout out to, Mike?
My kids at home if they're watching and probably in sleep. My wife,
Little
everybody.
late.
You know, it's KTM. You know, everybody. FMF is top-notch team, and glad to be part of it.
Absolutely. All right, congrats, Mike. We'll let you talk to the live announcing crew. Congratulations on a solid ride.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
Very cool to see Mike Brown with the points lead going into the next round.
Yeah.
You know, he's still smiling. He'll take it back. He will work twice as hard during the week until he gets to that next race just so he can grab another win.
As we stare at the water here, let's reflect like the water does on not even thinking of Taddy as a teammate. Not even thinking of Taddy as a teammate. He's just a guy he's got to beat. He's racing to win. And that could be interesting as the points get closer and as the year end grows closer as well. Here's your results. One more time, Cody Webb third, Robert fourth. Robert had a crash there in the rocks. He was in contention as well. He was there up front early on.
Yeah, what an amazing night of racing. You know, every one of these guys has incredible heart, and I think everything built up to a phenomenal pro main event because everybody wants it so badly, and that's the nature of EnduroCross now. It's just so competitive.
Absolutely. So Taddy Blazusiak, they had him on the ropes, hadn't won the races early in the year. He has reclaimed his spot as king of the hill for now in the Geico EnduroCross Series. Of course, they're going to hook it up October 12th in Denver. We'll be back with a live webcast at the end of October from Everett, Washington. We'll see if he can keep the momentum going. We want to thank you, folks watching on the MotorTrend YouTube site. It's a great night of racing. Congrats to all of our winners in our support classes and, of course, our main event champion, Taddy Blazusiak. For Chris Dennison, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us for Geico AMA EnduroCross, fueled by Monster Energy. Well done, Taddy Blazusiak.